has been such to make it difficult for the senior people to stay. And they are the ones leaving because they lose the recognition, they lose the money that recognize their seniority.
Mm-hmm.
And they, having held strain in the profession for decades, some of them are now feeling grossly disrespected by the failure of the government to address their immediate concerns. And some of them just plain burnout.
But even if you look at the conspiracy theory,
yes,
the first thing is the young people coming in, the older ones, the more experienced teachers are there, one, because they love what they do. Yeah? They are teachers at heart. And that's why they do it. As a matter of fact, that's why a lot of them put up with it for so long. The younger ones coming in, yes, they'll have a love for it too, but they also want to make money. They want to be able to afford a car. They want to be able to afford a house. They want to be able to live. So therefore, when they're coming in, it's expected that they will be paid. No one can always argue that, yeah, that might be true, but some of them coming from home and them don't have any response. Listen, as far as I see it, young people are demanding a whole lot these days. And we know that a lot of the problems that we have in this country is, you see a lot of the crimes being committed by young persons. And it's because they want to have a certain kind of lifestyle. And a lot of times the lifestyle that they are seeking is the lifestyle of those who have spent years doing what they're doing and acquiring what they have. And so a young person is not going to go into a job and be underpaid and just stay there. The truth is that they stand a better chance of the older or the more experienced teacher being there because out of experience and love for it, they are more tolerant.
So what are you saying? Conspiracy or no conspiracy?
No, I don't buy into the conspiracy thing so easily. I really don't.
The first thing we need to remember, we're coming up to the scripture of the morning. The first thing that we need to remember is that there is always a conspiracy. Remember?
Yes.
Always a conspiracy.
Conspiracy of dunces?
Yes. The dunces like to conspire. There's always a conspiracy because in this realm, we have forces pushing against each other, and there are some common strategies which you will see being replayed time and time again. One is prepare yourself for your enemies to come together in a caucus to plot and conspire against you. Similarly, in a nation, the forces that push against the growth and prosperity of the nation will also do the same. Common strategies. They come together to set a plot. Traps are laid. Snares are forever, liberally sprinkled throughout your environment. And that's the nature of the world in which we live, that there is push and pull, there is yin and yang, there's good and evil. This is what I'm talking about. And there's a tension between the two, which is what defines each of them. You can only appreciate good after you've got a taste of the evil. And so on and so forth. The one and the other, the this and the that. So we know that things exist in counter opposition and there's a tension. But for those who are seeking to be in the right, you know always that there are two roads before you and you must choose. The word of the Lord this morning, coming out of the prophecies of Isaiah, is, do not ever say a conspiracy concerning all that your enemies call a conspiracy. Let me put it that way. There's always talk of conspiracy. This one is plotting against that, is plotting against that, and you spend all your time trying to figure out which strategy you need to employ. You don't need to do all of that. Children of God must never join with the bandwagon. Yeah, do not ever join the bandwagon. If they're saying conspiracy, whatever it is that non-believers, those who don't operate under the influence, the guide, the will of God. Whatever they are calling a conspiracy, avoid joining them. Do not be afraid of their threats. Do not be troubled. It is the Lord of hosts whom you must fear, whom you must revere. Let him be your fear. Let him be your dread. In other words, you should be so caught up in doing what it is that you know to be the right thing in the will of God, that your focus blocks out the noise of those who are saying conspiracy, conspiracy. So, for example, a teacher, you've acquired your skill, your training, you've chosen to be in a profession. I think there are some professions that are calling vocations. They are not a career choice that you just idimini what skills I have, what is the best thing for me.
And we know teaching is one such.
Teaching is one of them. Let us remember, Christ gave certain gifts to the church for the building up of his people. Pastors, teachers, evangelists, prophets, and apostles. Apostles are the ones that the word apostle means the sent ones. Apostles are the people who go out and break into new territory. The apostolic grace is not confined to building church. We're agreed.
Yes.
The apostolic grace is what allows men and women to enter new markets, new businesses, new territory, and set up institutions through which the word of God can reach people, through which the blessings of God can reach people in the form of finance, education, manufacturing, and productive endeavors, through music, through arts and culture, through, I'm including food now, culinary arts, but every person who ventures into new territory and say, I see a market over there that has not experienced the blessing of God through whatever gift he has put forth in his creation, and they go to break into new ground, an apostle. Of course, the origin of it is they go to bring the gospel of Christ, which is salvation, freedom, economic freedom, political freedom, cultural freedom, personal freedom.
Yes.
Apostles. We tend to think of apostles as those who go start a new church. It's not just that, because it is God who builds his church. Christ said, I will build my church. So those who go out and make a building into which people can come and worship, yes, that is apostolic, but that's not the entirety of it, because the light of Christ is not confined to creating a space in which people can congregate. Apostle Lowell. No, Lowell is first among the apostles for me, because he carries that grace. If I have a business idea, I just need to say, Lowell, I think we could do so and so. And he's the one who works out where to put it, where is the market, how to address the market, what operational structure you need to have in place, how to run it, even though sometimes we run it on just a prayer and a hope and some shoestring budget. But he's the one who handles that. It is the apostolic grace on his life which allows him to do that. We see other Jamaicans who venture into, right away I think of pastors Derrymon. I can't believe Derrymon traders.
Yes.
I think about there's some businesses like that have sprung up, and they enter into new fields, and you see them spreading not just locally, but you see them spreading internationally.
Yes. And that's their ministry.
That is their ministry, because your work is your worship.
Understand the word ministry, yeah. Because when you talk about a kingdom, you have different people, different vocation, many different things within a kingdom. And so when people minister, right, it means you appeal to the person in a spiritual way, in a physical way a lot of times. You know, so people's ministry will differ depending on your calling. You know? But well,
I was speaking about the gifts,
yes,
and saying that teaching.
Say back to the gift.
Back to the gift.
That's what I was going to go.
Yeah, you
back
can
to
always. Yeah.
You see,
so teachers
yes.
are amongst the gifts which Christ gave to the body of Christ, meaning the people of the world who are called to his kingdom. He gave them 5 main gifts in the person of professionals in certain areas. Teaching is one of them. So those teachers, those persons who are called to the profession, who come into the profession, and who stay, you can know the ones for whom it's a calling, because they will stay year in, year out. You see that teacher who buy the fan out of her own pocket?
Yes.
That's the call on her life, to teach. She's going to find and use her own resources and ingenuity to create the best environment in which the children can learn. And you know why I feel so strongly for the teachers? The government knows this. They know that once the bell rings and the classroom is back in session, those teachers are going to do everything they can, whether you pay them or not. And that's the great service. So Jamaicans who know that this is how our government behaves, when they have good people, they work them down to the last bone. Don't stand for it. Give the teachers some love and some support.
Don't forget, that my mother was a teacher.
Well,
so I know what I mean.
I
have lived that life my entire life. Well, her entire life. I'm still
not
going.
her entire, because she was here before you.
But
so for all the time you knew her,
she taught.
Yeah.
And I know the sacrifice.
Yeah.
I know all the things.
You see them come home and making things.
And despite everything, she stuck it out until she retired and so on. And even during retirement, she continued to give time to prepare children. And so we understand the heart that a teacher has. And this is not something to be ignored, because we must understand that without teachers, nothing works. Nothing works. Anyway,
even with teachers,
we're on the subject.
It's time for break. Even with teachers, some things don't work.
Yes.
Well, can you imagine what will happen without?
Yeah.
All right, let's take our break. We'll come back to it. All right. So.
You're simply the
Best FM 100 on your dial. Keep listening.
It's Vaughn
and Twyla,
and we're here with what you need to know this week. Wink with a lot. Yes, the school year is back on all free paper board.
Oh no!
All you're going to see on every social media timeline for the next few days is children in uniforms going to school. Many for the first time.
Yep.
Kind of make you want to have one too. Not true.
I never said that. No, how about that? No, not right now. I mean, if I have one, you mean go back to a time when my parents paid me to go hang out with my friends, do a little schoolwork, and finish my day by 2:00. Sure. Not that way around.
That's not exactly where I was going, but
What's that? Okay, because that is the only one I am entertaining at this time, good sir. But big up to all the parents out there doing the most of their back to school photos at the school gate and the pit of them Chris off there, the beautiful, oh, the good and thing. You are extra. And I approve of this. You have to be extra with the pit of them, let them know them loved.
Okay. I don't mind as long as it is accompanied by steady involvement in the child's academic progress. Just like what the Education Minister Favour Williams was talking about in her back to school message on Sunday. The children need teachers, but they need parents just as much.
You said it. But we have to give kudos to all the different stakeholders out there working to make sure this back to school period goes off as smoothly as possible. Beyond the principals, teachers, and parents, you have the custodians who keep the schools clean, the canteen workers, and definitely the bus and taxi men who take the kids to school. Big up on yourself.
Yes, man. Big up to all the decent, nice driving bus and taxi men who ensure the kids get to school safely. While ensuring they obey the rules of the road and drive with consideration. Said what I said.
I know what you just said, and I see what you did there. I also have to mention that the 50 JUTC CTC buses that recently arrived in the island joined the fleet on Monday, which the Transport Minister Darrell Vaz says should result in reduced wait times at bus stops for commuters. I'm sure people are happy about that.
The minister also mentioned that more buses are on the way. 20 compressed natural gas CNG buses have been ordered through a framework agreement and will arrive soon.
Yay!
He's also hopeful that another 100 buses can be procured before March 31, 2024.
And switching lanes a bit, Prime Minister Andrew Holness was over in Montego Bay last week, where he hosted a town hall on roads and housing. Now, he shared a lot of plans that the government intends to undertake, including plans to extend the North-South Highway. Look at that.
Yeah, he says the idea is to extend the highway to the west so that persons can come up closer to Trelawney instead of at Marnie Bay. Now, I'm kind of for this. I mean, as short as the drive to places like Mobay and Falmouth are, now thanks to the highway, I wouldn't mind if it was shorter still.
Me too, and it sounds like more road trips, more stops, and maybe more attractions will open up in new parts of the country. It sounds like a win-win to me. I don't know if that's how it sounds to you.
I also have to take some time to big up the National Solid Waste Management Authority. Just like the Prime Minister, at the same town hall meeting, he said that since getting the new garbage trucks recently, the NSWMA has really ramped up collections, so much so that complaints about garbage backlog have dropped by more than 50%.
Hey, so people don't understand just how powerful our garbage men really are. If you're thinking about just make them don't come for 3 weeks and you really see what's going on here, people. Okay.
I know, see, you are so right and so wrong at the same time.
I'm just saying.
All right. Anyway, that's it for Wing today, guys. Got comments? Send us an email at radio@jis.gov.jm. You can also connect with us on X at JIS News.
Hop on the gram, follow us, and on TikTok at Jazz Voice. It's the same handle, people, and interact with us on Facebook at Jamaica Information Service. So until next time, I'm Twyla.
And I'm Vaughn, reminding you that
knowledge is power, so stay in the know.
The Joint Select Committee of Parliament reviewing the Security Interest in Personal Property Act 2013 invites your written submissions to aid in their deliberations. You may view the act at japarliament.gov.jm under the heading Publications. Send your submissions by Friday, September 1, 2023 via mail to Clerk to the Houses, Gordon House, 81 Duke Street, Kingston, or email clark@japarliament.gov.jm. Please note that you may be required to appear before the committee at short notice to explain your submission.
A production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
Are you in search of genuine shocks, power steering pumps, engine mount, fender liners, strut mount, front end parts, engine parts, electrical switches, sensors, and so much more for your Honda Ridgeline vehicle? Well, look no further. Contact Mormac Auto Parts at 326-7371 or 821-5232. Remember, Mormac Auto Parts, your Honda Ridgeline new parts dealer. We're located in Kingston. Call us at 326-7371 or 821-5232 for more details.
Having trouble getting parts for your Mazda? Maljam Auto Parts is your solution. Find Maljam at the new and convenient location of Upper Autumn Park Road at 9 Kingswood Avenue. Maljam Auto Parts, with over 25 years experience, providing all Mazda parts, new and used. Call 923-4389 and 461-1786. Maljam Auto Parts, serving your Mazda needs.
Veteran Printers for all your printing needs. We specialize in calendars, flyers, brochures, and more. Call us today at 968-7506. That's 968-7506. Or visit us at 4 East Bloomsbury Road, off Haggard Park Road. Veteran Printers, your best choice in printing.
Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. God is good. This is already pastor and friend, Reverend Simon Peter Jones, inviting you, my friends, to listen every Tuesday evening on Best 100 FM at 7:30 p.m. for the program, The Voice of Hope, as we extend hope to the hopeless in this dying world. God is good. Be encouraged. Hope is in the
Get healthy, my friends. Stay balanced. Tune into this station, FM 100, every Saturday morning, 8 o'clock to 9, for this wonderful program, Your Health Today. Me, Dr. Clarion Palmer. Yes, get healthy, get healthy, get healthy. Stay balanced. Best FM 100, Saturday morning, 8 o'clock, with me, Dr. P. Get up there.
Make money now with the local City and Guilds and ABE endorsed certificates from Distinction College. Start new online and face-to-face classes very soon in our Make Money Now career courses and get qualified jobs worldwide or start your own business in practical pediatric, geriatric, and psychiatric nursing, phlebotomy and pharmacy technician, early childhood education, child care, cashiering, call center, event planning, receptionist, customer service, housekeeping, waitering, food preparation, bartending, cake baking, plumbing, motor vehicle, electrical installation, air conditioning, makeup, hairdressing, nail technician, and cosmetology. No subjects required, no age limit. Register this week and get City and Guilds Maths and English classes for free. Call us at 3564167.
Half it free. Already, 200. Mama. Ready. Is this the confusion you feel when trying to work your way through medical systems in Jamaica? Try a dose of Ask Dr. Mary every Thursday at 5 to 6 p.m. Let Dr. Mary help you understand your medical problems and bring you to a calmer place.
I'm moving up.
Best 100 FM presents the Mature and Moving Up Show, Lascelles Butch Chen, on Thursdays from 6 to 9 p.m. Welcome to this pioneering radio program on our continuing work in our maturing years, compellingly define, educate, and liberate the younger generation. Tune in and welcome.
Best 100 FM is the authentic voice of Jamaica, promoting your prosperity with better vibes and better music. Let us promote your goods and services for you. Advertise with us. For more information, call our office at 876-276-8935. That's 276-8935.
The Morning Connection is not your usual talk show. We aim to stimulate discussion and chart new paths to self-empowerment. So please join us, Minette and Percy, on the Morning Connection, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Best 100 FM.
It's good, it's better, but nothing beats.
Good morning and welcome back. 7:11 a.m. and we are going through I think the most important issue of the day, what's happening with our schools. Pastor Percival is still at home. Producer Lowell Lawrence is doing double duty. Well, some might say triple duty since he is also my partner. He's doing double duty, sitting in as producer and co-host. And you're getting some love from England. Somebody says we're a perfect combination. And that's not the pastor who married us. Someone said perfect combination. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we thank you for noticing the energy, the chemistry. But, okay. The word of the morning, for those who might have missed the scripture of the day, is from Isaiah chapter 8, 12 and 13. Do not say a conspiracy concerning all that this people call a conspiracy. This people meaning those who are not of God, who are interpreting the movements of the world using the systems, the ideas, the strategies of the world, and they look at happenings around you and they say conspiracy. And the Lord is saying to you, don't join them. Don't say this is a conspiracy. Do not be afraid of their threats. Do not be troubled. The Lord of hosts, He is the focus of your reverence, your attention. Him should be the one you fear, and let him be your dread. In other words, focus so much on being obedient to the will and the way of God. Be so fearful and respectful of the consequences of disobeying God that you are not distracted by what the world is doing. So, you're called to teach. I'm speaking to the teachers as well. You know that since you could take make your first sentence, you were making it to a classroom of invisible students. We've all been there. Your mom is cooking. This is from my own childhood now. And you're in the kitchen around her foot, and you have either your siblings are lined up to simulate the classroom, and you are always the teacher. You're never the student. You are the one saying, be quiet. What is the answer to this? I show you this. What is? And you're mimicking everything that goes on in the classroom. You want to teach. That's your calling, the gift that God has made of you, because we're all gifts to his creation. You're a gift to your wife or your husband, as Pastor likes to say. Earl Brown says, I got to put this in. Speedy recovery to Pastor Palmer from his little illness. We'll pass it on.
Was there ever a time when things were okay between the government and the teachers, meaning that the teachers were satisfied that they were okay? Let's not say satisfied.
There must have been, because the purchasing power of our dollar was not always crap.
When was that? Was that in the 70s? Was that in
the 60s?
When was that?
Oh, you have to ask your mother.
I'd like to
go visit your mother grave and ask
teachers
her.
out there listening, just give us a little feedback. Let us get a sense of what we are supposed to be looking at, because we need some kind of template to work with,
But think of it, in your childhood, in my childhood for sure, a teacher was a revered, highly respected member of the community. Of course. And I think just that alone would have made up for some of the shortcomings in the pocket. Because we know that it's not about the money. Because plenty of people have high-paying job and it stress them out. They end up leave it, or they cling to it and they end up with cancer. All teachers are magicians.
To me, it's amazing to see what she did with the pay that she got.
Well, I want to run the numbers with you, though, Lowell, in terms of what the position is. And I'm doing a combination of what you said. What is the minister doing, saying? The minister is saying, tragic that we're losing or highly valued teachers, putting words in her mouth, because that's what she should be saying too. However, numerically, we won't have a shortage because, bless God, only 854 have resigned. And we actually have a stock of 1,700 new teachers to fill the vacancies. In fact, by her calculation, she have 846 additional teachers should the numbers increase. That's what the minister is saying. In her response, she does not address either quality, meaning how experienced are these new teachers, and she doesn't address location. Are they dispersed across the island in the right areas so that they could just walk into the vacancies and it does not create either a hardship on their pockets or on the government side? Because if you do travel allowance, although I hear that's gone, to whatever the situation might be, 1,700 new teachers to fill 854 slots looks like a win for the minister, whose responsibility it is to make sure she has a sufficient stock of teachers to deliver the services. So that's the minister.
Let me see if I understand that number now.
Yes.
800 and how much?
854 have resigned.
So they have tendered a resignation.
Then gone.
No, hold on. No. When somebody resign, them write a letter and say, well, I hereby resign my whatever.
No, have left.
They have left.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. No, I just want to be sure.
Yes, because no, people are putting her to task to say this 854 is not a reliable number,
right?
Because there are other people who intend to leave. There are some who are on leave and are not coming back.
Right.
Okay, so now the other side of the story, borrowing now from our spokesperson on education in the government opposition. He says 854 is not a reliable number because 1,500 teachers are on leave and 400 have retired. So right away you have 1,900 out of the system.
Yes.
And then add that to the 854 and you have 2,754 teachers. So the number that the minister should be working with is not the 854 who have left. It's the 2,754
right,
who are out of the system. Now, if the minister is right and we have 1,700 people to fill those vacancies, then the real gap is 1,054. So we are looking for 1,054 teachers.
How many we have coming in? Remind me.
1,700, but we really need 2,700 and 54. So we have a gap.
Yeah.
Okay. The point I was making to you earlier is that the government knows, as do every parent, I think, that once the doors open and the teachers are in control of that classroom, the teachers who are the called ones coming out of the giftings that Christ has given to the nation, because the people are the church. So when we hear church, we tend to think of denomination and buildings. But no, in the eyes of God, his image bearers represent his church. Out of the whole pool of us will be the ones. Okay. So teachers who are responding to the call on their life, once they take over that classroom, hear what this principal says for Innswood High, Linstead Primary. Principal Joni Tucker of Linstead Primary School. She said, we must do what we must do.
Yes. Yes.
They're not going to drop the ball. They're not going to look at the kids and disappoint. And that to me is why we have to fight to support teachers and policemen, the civil servants who are doing the things we don't do for ourselves and don't even want to do, and some of us can't do for ourselves. When they are left to carry the weight of it, we got to help them. Because they're supposed to be paid out of tax dollars.
Up and leave willy-nilly. It usually get to a point where they cannot bear it anymore.
Yeah.
And that's when they leave. So, never think that a teacher just say, okay, there's more money over there, let me just run and get it. No, that's not the case.
So, and
sad. It is a sad situation.
But it really is an opportunity for people who are well-intentioned and who have the heart of God. It's a time for us to stand up and push for better treatment for the persons that we know deserve it. Teachers are amongst those who deserve it. So says Minette and Lowell. So says the Lord. So Mr. Crawford, in the opposition chair, is going back to motor vehicle concessions of varying percentages to give them better access to motor vehicles, upgrading the staff rooms to create a comfortable environment for teachers. Those are soft issues, really, because but anyway, everything helps. Let's see. Teachers some of them have student debt. Well, the more mature teachers don't have student debt. But anyway, he's saying contribute to paying down debt for them. National Housing Trust should be tapped to provide additional sweeteners for the profession. Please don't tap National Housing Trust anymore. I noticed that the NHT Act was amended to give them the power to spend up to $5 billion on education. And you want to go into that more? It's already there.
And
teachers should get a special limit of $14 million from the trust so they could, I don't know.
They also have the conditions of the classroom to contend with.
Yeah.
Deplorable conditions in a lot of instances.
And he's talking about providing a package with free internet service as a necessary tool of trade. Don't even have to be doing those things because
we don't want to go there. I remember the days when we were giving the schools the internet practically free.
Yep.
And no, look at that. Can you imagine? Can you imagine?
Discussing access to technology is not, that shouldn't be an issue that is a part of teachers, because teachers shouldn't have that as one of the things they need to do anyway. Schools should, as a matter of course, have access to the technology and the tools that the students need.
Yeah.
That's a part of the Ministry of Education. That have nothing to do with precisely.
It should be there.
It should be there because, we accept what the United Nations said, that internet is one of the necessities of life, one of the, what you call them, like water and light, as you say. Basic human requirements. I don't know where, let's see, where's Farm Primary and Infant School is battling the heat. I don't know where Farm is. Let me see if I get the address. Farm Primary and Infant School. And that's the school from which the teacher says she had to buy a fan out of her own money.
Yes.
Because despite all that is happening, and we know from before, there's low interest money available for climate change adaptations of the built environment.
Yes.
There is low interest money available. Development Bank, which is headed by one of the princes of the nation. So we should not even be hesitating to ensure that all government buildings are adapted to alleviate the burden of the excessive heat or excessive cold or excessive raining, flood risk, and those things. We shouldn't even hesitate. That should be like, whoever is the minister for, what did they call it, environment and climatic change?
Yeah.
That should have been project number one. Let's start with public buildings, public housing. Let's make sure that we as a government who are putting our weight behind these changes and negotiating all this stuff so that the nation can make the adaptations. Let's make sure we lead by example, because that's another important part of leadership. But you see, when you are following the words of Isaiah 8:12 and 13, where you are not following the crowd, but you are instead allowing your knowledge of God and the wisdom of God to lead you, you will have those ideas. You will know that schools, hospitals, tax offices, the government buildings, wherever it is people are working and carrying out activities for the benefit of the public, those places should be in the first round of the adaptations that are required to ensure that these excessive or out of the norm variations in the climate, that we can withstand them. You shouldn't have teachers having to go into their pocket now to buy a little fan. Wow. So what they're looking at now, wall-mounted fans. Please, Lord, don't let any of them drop off on the children. Standing electric fans. Gina went and did a tour and said some of the fans are rusting with age. But in an effort they were strategically placed in a desperate effort to combat the poorly ventilated oven-like conditions.
Thank you very much.
Which also mean prisons.
When you put a wall-mounted fan right up on the ceiling,
and it push back down the hot air
and just throw it right back down in the classroom.
Wow. Now, the teacher at the school they visited said that they were seeking sponsorship for fans at the school, and guess what, Lowell? Nobody. They couldn't get any.
Nobody.
Oh my goodness.
Well,
you see now Jamaica, that's why we're talking about it. Yeah, windy fans right below it. Yeah. So this is what we're talking about now. Because when civil society is putting its voice behind these things, a school in a community was trying to get sponsorship for fans. And it fell through. You know, you remember that our son has a business. I must find out if there are schools because Daniel reconstruct fans and refurbish fans.
Wasn't there? No, remember.
And we wanted to donate fans to.
Remember that Adopt a School program?
Yeah, where
was it Adopt a School program?
Government or
private entities would adopt an institution and support them in different ways.
Well,
am I remembering the right thing?
I don't know. I don't know of it, but I can tell you right away.
Adopt a School program.
I can tell you right away
Somebody listening to us could just remind us. There was an Adopt a School where you have.
All right, can't trust Earl Brown to find it.
Would just adopt a school and support them in ways like that. They need funds, they need this, they need that.
All right, so a couple of things. Sure, you can look out for the school in your community, and it has to be like a community-based initiative where you know the teachers, you know the students, you know the principal. It's a dangerous thing to, and I'm sure that there are procurement rules against it for government institutions to just accept things from the public, especially things that have to be introduced into the built environment.
Well,
so
you're clear.
Yeah, so like a standing
in
fan.
a controlled way.
Yeah. So it's just to sound the alarm or raise the consciousness that for you to contribute things to a school, it has to be done in the right way. So, for example, even those who are the sponsors don't have access to the children.
Right.
Because there is a thing where, you know, benefactors can end up in troubling situations because they gain access to the children. And we saw what happened with
clearly you would have the rules.
But persons in neighborhoods where you know there's an infant school, you know there's a primary school and so on, and you see what's happening with the heat, stay in touch with them. Yes. So whatever you can do.
And give those people the incentive, the necessary incentive.
Right. Whatever you can do to support. It's good to support the school in your community anyway. Yeah, it sounds familiar, but what I don't know, because it would be like a private sector initiative.
Yes, it is.
Right.
Yes, that would ease some of the pressure for the government themselves, and the school could get the kind of attention that
one principal is here saying the children tend to get quite restless when it gets too hot, and we're not equipped with enough cooling systems as it relates to fans. The building is not so equipped for air conditioning, but we definitely need to put in some fans, says one principal. So on top of the misery in their personal lives, they now have to ensure that the children are kept safe under the existing conditions. 7:30 a.m. We're going to take our break. You know what we're talking about, so please get your ideas lined up and your activism well juiced up, because we've got to go to the mat for our teachers and our children, because we want them to be well educated to the best of their ability at this time. Let's take the break.
Praise the Lord, praise the Lord. God is good. This is already Pastor and friend, Reverend Simon Peter Jones, inviting you, my friends, to listen every Tuesday evening on Best 100 FM at 7:30 p.m. for the program, The Voice of Hope, as we extend hope to the hopeless in this dying world. God is good. Be encouraged. Hope is in the Lord.
Looking to clean your vehicle super clean? 123 Clean Car Wash, located at 2 1/4 Osborne Road, Kingston 10. Entrance on Grove Road, below Tropical Battery. They wash and vacuum, undercarriage wash, engine wash, polish and compound, shampoo and detailing. Call them at 876-631-3400. 123 Clean Car Wash, the best in the business for a cleaner wash.
So easy.
Half a tree, 100, average. Boss it. How we do a take taxi start?
Channel.
I want to tell you, say, 2 months now, my transmission mash up, and me check everybody and can't hear nothing positive.
Yeah, hear me? Yeah, waste all that time I shop around and never call the experts. Winters Auto FM. Them have over 35 years of experience and then diagnose the problem and get back your transmission brand new. For them service excellent and efficient. Trust me, man. Yeah, hear me? Call them at 929-7040 or go to them at 106 Maxfield Avenue, Kingston 13 and talk directly to the boss. Just tell them I'm me, send you.
You big star. Yeah, man, respect my boss.
Try calling him, cause trust me.
Winters Auto Repairs and Repairs. Good afternoon.
What a relief.
Wickham Printers for all your printing needs. We specialize in calendars, flyers, brochures, and more. Call us today at 968-7506. That's 968-7506. Or visit us at 4 East Bloomsbury Road, off Haggard Park Road. Wickham Printers, your best choice in printing machine.
Careless and love more. Don't you open up the door.
Live, camera, volume. Live it up Fridays on Best 100 FM. 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. with I, Ibi Lion, each and every Friday. Giving you the better vibes, heard everywhere.
Best 100 FM is the authentic voice of Jamaica, promoting your prosperity with better vibes and better music. Let us promote your goods and services for you. Advertise with us. For more information, call our office at 876-276-8935. That's 276-8935.
The Morning Connection is not your usual talk show. We aim to stimulate discussion and chart new paths to self-empowerment. So please join us, Minette and Percy, on The Morning Connection, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Best 100.
It's good. It's better, but nothing beats.
Okay, welcome back. I did my research and found on the Ministry of Education's website the Adopt a School program. I'm not sure what's happening with it these days, but there does exist such a program. And just to look at it a little bit here, who can adopt? Well, it starts the benefits of the adoption. Let me try and get to the beginning, right? It says each year the government of Jamaica allocates millions of dollars to the educational system. Even though I don't want to read from there. Let me just say that is going into a whole heap of things. But the whole idea is that a business, a community-based organization, civic entities, and so on and so forth, can in fact adopt a school, and they can contribute to the school based on the needs of that particular institution, and I'm just summarizing what is here. So I'm not sure how active this program is.
But it's still on their website, so it's
still there.
Still
right.
An approved
but I think
program.
It is something that we need to look
at. So look at the eligibility criteria.
Yes.
No, man, I see it down the bottom because they're saying who can adopt.
Right.
If you're in prison, I don't think they will allow you to adopt. They say these partners, I just saw it. You can't be involved in certain activities. Okay. Oh, wow. I'm messing it up.
Need a bigger screen. Or let me
criminal or gain their cash. These partners should not be involved in any criminal activity or gain their cash or kind through any criminal means. The Ministry of Education, through its regional offices, will investigate any suspicious persons who seek to adopt a school or make a donation. Principals, too, are encouraged to screen adopters prior to their donation of cash or kind to schools. interested adopting bodies should first do what? Contact. So say some more about it, because as you might give it a fresh, including to some of those who are online from foreign parts and who want to assist.
Right, and so on.
So your first step is contact the Ministry of Education and identify the particular needs of the school. Then you meet and discuss plans for adoption with the principal and board chairman of the school. Identify the major needs of the school and match those within its, its ability. There's a school community outreach school community outreach program for education.
No,
and
these programs.
Yeah, that's a good program to be associated with.
Is gonna be dependent on how the funds are managed, how they are administered. Now, we have seen a lot of situations where these funds go into the government's coffers and then it is not used for what it was intended. I've seen it.
But it does seem as if this program, Lowell, is set up so that there's a list of needs.
Yes.
When you contact the, like you said, this school need 10 fans.
Right.
You can contribute 10 fans to that school.
Right.
It reads that way.
It's not a situation where money is put
right.
into.
It's not like a fund that you contribute to.
Yes.
And so you can be very specific about the school you want to support, and there's some idea of what they need, and you address that particular need, which is perfect for those donors.
Talking about an adopted teacher.
That would run close to human trafficking. Aaron is also mentioning the Sagicor Foundation's Adopt a School program on board. So there are different ways, and of course, partnering with the school in your community has got to be one of the best things you can do to support community life. So a lot of times people say, what does it mean to disciple a nation? This is what it means to disciple a nation. It's where you get involved in being a blessing to institutions, to individuals, out of nothing more than a desire to see people prosper, participate in the blessings of God on your life, and create a good result that is devoid of any political or economic motivation.
Yes. Yeah.
That's how you disciple a nation. You simply do your part in building. If you're teaching, you teach. And you teach from that place of fear and reverence for God, because you're not worried about the conspiracies of man. Man is always conspiring. You know that?
Of course.
Everywhere you go, two people are plot and hatch a plan on what they're going to do to advance.
We were charged for conspiring.
Yes, but we were not conspiring. The government was conspiring to call us conspirators. There's something else I wanted to touch on.
Well, this adopt a school thing isn't by my.
Yeah. No, man.
I'm thinking of
encourage
how it would, positively affect the teachers. And I'm saying, okay, if institutions adopt a school and they are taking care of the infrastructure and so on, then it means that the government can rechannel some of those funds to pay the teachers more.
Yes.
Is that
yeah, of course.
So we are trying to find a way, because yes, we've been talking about the teachers all morning. This is an adopt a school. Yeah, so this would deal with the conditions under which the teachers work, including the fan and things like those.
And even some of those, because it's both cash and kind, and it can be services.
That's something that they do, don't they?
Yeah, they have a special thing that they do for teachers.
For teachers, yes. So we need more people to come on board with this. We really do need more people, and the least the government can do is to ensure that the requisite what you call
what oversight?
No.
What are we talking about?
Benefits to the people who will.
Oh, the incentives for the private
are
sector.
In place. Yes.
Yeah, but mind you should be willing to do it with or without any incentives from government.
That is true.
Yeah.
But you know the reason for incentives, right?
Well,
is to encourage people.
yes.
So
Well, to reward, but publication of it.
encouragement.
Publishing the incentives before you have performed will encourage you to participate.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, but let us do something, because there's no point in us just talking about it and, you know, and just leave it there. We need to do something.
But these are our children, you know.
Yeah.
The ones in the classrooms who would, you know, get heat stroke and, you know, pass out and not, or just can't focus. These are our children. They're the workforce of the future, and their health and well-being as they go through the learning experience is a great concern to us.
And I know our good friend Cruz is going to call us later on and tell us all the wonderful things he's doing for his son's school down there in Santa Cruz.
The new school.
Yes, so we look forward to that call. Let us encourage our citizens, people within the community, people in business, churches, all of these organizations. Let's get together and solve this problem. You know, let's take the lead. Let's stop complaining and just take the lead in doing something about these problems.
And it's not an unnatural intervention either. And it's not even innovative in the sense it's not a new idea, because
it's not.
the commissioned study on education, the education sector, the Patterson report, speaks about this new, well, not new, but speaks about including in the process apprenticeship programs where the private sector is offering, like, you know, mentorship, internship, work study opportunities throughout the learning process, so that there is a more harmonious working between the private sector and the education sector. So the output, the educated person is more useful in a productive environment.
Right.
So many times what comes out of the process is an abstract, and you then have to try and fit this individual into a useful work mode. I was talking to my niece is at university at UTech now, and the job she's doing, she's in full-time work, and she's also full-time studying, because of course UTech has, I guess maybe UAT does it too, but you can select your study program for the afternoon hours, so you can do a full day of work and a full day of school, which is just beautiful. So the flexible work study hours, that's a partnership between private and public, because her job, school starts really at 6. So she's able to, you know, do a full day of work. That is, more people need to be taking advantage of those approaches. Of course, not the underage ones who shouldn't be working at all, but who should still have a study environment which is sufficiently connected to the working world, so they understand the connection between the maths and science and what they're doing and the world of work. So if you have innovation labs that involve in robotics or coding or animation or whatever, you can build a connection with a school in your neighborhood, so that even small tasks can be completed by the students and the school gets paid.
Yes. Yeah.
Because they like, look at our son. I mean, from he was 10-ish, he was proficient at certain tasks for which you would pay.
Yeah.
I mean, now they're doing for the repair, like the technical schools that do furniture making. Some received contracts to build benches and chairs.
When I went to school years ago.
So they were doing it from then?
Make money, yes. They get jobs in the welding shop,
Yeah.
You know,
and they use it as a
carpentry.
teaching exercise for the
Yes,
student.
yes.
The school gets paid
And
and
the
it goes
students
into
get the
something for the
experience.
children. Yeah, because when you do that now, you are building up. So, hey, even at
truth
the
is-
smallest level,
Yes. Plus, the school will also repair its furniture.
and you can repair your own.
Technical
Right.
schools are a blessing.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
You know, I went to a technical school.
Yeah.
And
So now that they're talking about it, about having more STEAM type activities in all the schools, the focus, and we're not hearing nearly enough about that from our education minister, has just been completely distracted by the conspiracy talk. So each time she comes to the microphone, she's not speaking about how
She's in a-
the delivery of education is
Trying-
going to be reformed so that our children get a more useful experience.
It
Does
is,
that-
it is my view that for every community that you have a school, that community should benefit from the presence of that school.
Of course, of
Every
course.
single
'Cause-
community.
So, like in my
Community should prosper.
so like in my community now, where I grew up, Mount Moriah country, there are shut-ins, elderly people who you can read to them, you can just visit with them as part of your, I'll call it community work.
Right.
You can maintain, the school has space, you can maintain a little vegetable garden that is used to cook lunch in the classroom as for the students, as well as make gifts to the people. There are just so many things that you can do to create a greater bond with the community and to get that transfer of knowledge from the old people into the young people. I mean, well, my day, you had to visit your elders, but a lot of young children, if they don't have grandparents or their grandparents, these days grandparents are in their 40s.
Oh yes.
Did you know that?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, shockingly.
Yes. Oh yes.
Shockingly, grandparents are young people these days. So a lot of
Come
the
across
young
grandparents in
children.
their 30s.
Oh dear, no,
Yes.
that's somebody
No, I'm
committed a crime there.
Well, I'm telling you, I came, yes,
You met a 30-year-old
in their 30s. Yeah.
grandparents in their 30s. So the point I'm making is this. We talk of discipling a nation, meaning now we want to transform how people think and behave because we want that better citizen. But you got to start young. And if you have a primary school, a all-age school, whatever, in your community, there should be programs that are in operation that bring young people in contact with citizens of all ages as they learn to love and care for the disabled, the elderly, whatever the case might be. There should be programs that are fitting people together in that way. So when I was a youngster, grandparents were really old people. Well, mind you, when you're young, you think 60 years old. But grandparents had gray hairs and looked wrinkled.
Yeah.
Let's use that as the measure. But you had to visit them, and you had to take meals. You had to make sure some personal care was included because, combing hair and brushing hair and reading Bible and those things were commonplace in my home. That's how I was raised.
Yeah.
To get back to that business now of bridging the generational gap through conversation and social activities, your school community can play a role because some children don't even have grandparents. Some the grandparents are far off, or some the grandparents are young and hot and active and don't stand still to do any transfer of knowledge. So you now have to be going into the other generation, great grandparents or somebody else's grandparents. I'm just saying, think with love, think creatively, and just see how as a people we can get involved in some of these activities that would boost the school, help the teachers carry the weight of dealing with our children, and also support the government and leave the government now to do what only it can do. So it can spend time on refocusing some of the programs that need refocusing, make the right provision to pay the teachers what they deserve or the best that we can pay them. But we are doing so many other things to show them that it's a partnership, that we have, we can reap a good harvest. Because I remember someone saying something about what happened in the 80s. And I was thinking that we are reaping in education. We're reaping now. We reap what we sowed those long ago days. So we gotta be doing some different kind of sowing now, so the future can reap a good harvest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Earl Brown is giving us a Canada comparative and asking us if it could happen in Jamaica. In Ontario, there's a government land scandal involved official of the Ministry of Housing of Ontario. Integrity Commissioner has investigated one high official and the Minister of Housing resigned. Could this happen in Jamaica, where a Minister of Government resigned? Well, it has happened in recent times. And Andrew Wheatley, Minister Andrew Wheatley resigned because of the happenings in his ministry, where now, of course, some of the principal players, I said principal, CMU, was it? That school. Yes. So yes, Earl Brown, doesn't happen often, but ministers have resigned because of just too much activity in their ministry, which casts doubt and shame on government.
Yeah, but I don't want us to leave the discussion about
education.
Education and things being done at the community level.
Oh, no, we're not leaving it.
Yeah,
that's our focus this morning.
Everyone is asking, and the truth is, whenever you get community and government or whatever working hand in hand, then certainly the results ought to be a positive.
Well, that becomes government by the people for the people.
Yes, and that's what
the community is the
that's
people.
How it should be.
And the government.
But then now the people need to drive that process. Because we see what is happening. You are allowing the government to drive certain things, and we see where it's going. Right? It's going right over the precipice. And we don't want that. We need to get involved. We need to get involved. I'm just thinking more about how to utilize the schools within the community so that it can benefit the community. It continues to benefit the children and the teachers.
You're just thinking how to do what?
No, I'm thinking some more about it and to see how the community will benefit from this thing. Because you have situations where a school is held between 8 o'clock, 7:30, 8 o'clock to maybe 3 o'clock in the afternoon or whatever. And then the facilities are suffering because of overuse and under maintenance, put it that way. Yeah.
The agency that sits between the school and the community is usually the Parent Teachers Association. So a rejuvenation of that body is what would go a far way in doing what you're talking about.
Right.
Because the parents of the current crop of students should be well motivated to ensure that the school is protected and that the children are having a good experience, because it's your children. I was going to say it's your pickaninnies, but then that is a plantation word. Yeah, so a rejuvenation of the Parent Teachers Association would go a far way in answering that cry. And I've heard Pastor Percy, who has been the president of different associations for the schools his children went to. I've heard him say how when the PTA is activated, it makes such a huge difference for the schools. And there is a National Parent Teachers Association. But Lowell, time and again, okay, so that I've been from childhood, I've been in government. Is that a good way to put it? I was going to say an activist, but then we just said, I've just see a big truck ready to say, yes, I knew you were an activist. But suffice it to say, I've never been one to stand on the sidelines when there's something to be done and I can help with it. Never been one. That definitely is how I am made up. And I came to the conclusion very early in the day when I was in high school and I started to look at different things I wanted to do. I remember I wanted to be in a service club because I loved the idea, coming out of my Baptist church upbringing, the idea of doing good deeds then.
Yes.
Appealed to me, and doing it in concert with other like-minded persons. Yes, team. I remember it was Circle K in my school, my high school. I don't think I went to 3 Circle K meetings. By the time I went to the first one, I said, oh, excited. This is what it's about. Yes. And went through the whole protocol and see how the meeting dry. And even as children, we fell very quickly into the pattern of just following the rituals of carrying a meeting and everybody important and just like to hear their own voice. And I'm like, what? When are we going to get to the good part? You go to another meeting and you realize, hey, they do this every week. The minutes of the last meeting, and they go through it, and points of order, and oh man, I did not like it. By the time I went to the third one, I realized, okay, this is politics. This is not really about doing anything. This is about the meeting, and this is about the next meeting, and this is planning for the big meeting and the regional meeting. And I'm like, when do you? I realized that a lot of if you want to kill a thing sometimes, just form an association. Just give it a name, and you spend your whole time working for the existence of your association and the reason that you were set up. The things you want to do get ignored. I realized that. So I'm going to say, you know what, Minette? If you want to go do 2 things for 2 people, just go and go do it. And if you want to visit with somebody else, invite them along. And if you want to. I realized very quickly that, it is personal. For you to do what you're called to do, you need to find a way to do it. And if you keep going into this, so I see the National Parent Teachers Association, and I realized that the surest way to kill the parents' vibe is to make a big edifice of what you're doing. Form an association, which then the structure of it takes over.
Yes.
And yeah. Time for our 8 o'clock break. Remarkably so. We did manage to get in 1 scripture. I'm very proud of us.
Yeah. Far it brought us.
Yeah. By tomorrow, Pastor Percy, we expect Pastor Percy. He says he's out until Friday, and we don't meet on Fridays. So if he gets some supernatural healing, he might join us on Thursday at the club. And then you will get 2, 3, 4 scriptures. But between Minute and Lowell, you got 2 verses. Let's take the break. Stay with us, please. We'll be right back.
Best FM 100 on your dial. Keep listening.
With the BBC News. Hello. The World Food Programme says it has cut rations to another 2 million Afghans this month due to a further sharp drop in funding. A spokesman for the UN agency told the BBC that it was facing a shortfall of $1 billion. With more details, here's our South Asia regional editor, Ambarisan Etiraja.
The cut in rations for Afghans comes amid growing alarm over shrinking international aid for Afghanistan after decades of conflict and the Taliban takeover in 2021. The World Food Programme has been providing about $38 a month in cash or food assistance for a family of 7 for a month, depending on the situation. But the funding is now expected to end in October. The agency has steadily cut aid through this year, and help has now been withdrawn from 10 million Afghans in total.
The French education minister has said that nearly 300 pupils arrived at school yesterday wearing the abaya, the long Muslim robe which was banned in schools last week. Hugh Schofield reports.
According to official figures, 298 girls, mainly aged 15 or more, turned up at school in a now banned abaya. Under instructions laid down by the ministry, there followed in each case a period of dialogue with school staff, and most girls then agreed to dress differently and were able to start classes. However, 67 girls refused to comply and were sent home. A further period of dialogue with their families will now ensue, and if that fails, they will be excluded. Set against the 12 million schoolboys and girls who started term on Monday, the government believes the figures show its ban has been broadly accepted.
3 men will go on trial in Bosnia today, accused of committing war crimes during the country's civil war. The men face charges including murder and torture, all carried out at the Prijedor concentration camp run by Bosnian Serbs in the 1990s. The indictment says women and young girls from the camp were regularly subject to sexual violence. A delegation of senior Palestinian officials is arriving in Riyadh to discuss their role in a possible US-backed normalization deal between Saudi Arabia and Israel. From Jerusalem, Tom Bateman reports.
The discussions in Riyadh are likely to focus on the Palestinian demands that the delegation would want the Saudis to push on their behalf if there is any normalization deal between Saudi Arabia and Israel. 4 Arab states have in recent years struck such agreements with the Israelis. Then the Palestinian approach was to ignore the discussions, but Saudi Arabia is too big to ignore, and the Palestinians appear to be listing the Israeli concessions they would expect in any such American-backed mega deal. They include US support for full Palestinian membership of the United Nations and Palestinian control of more territory in the occupied West Bank.
Tom Bateman reporting. You're listening to the World News from the BBC. 2 people have been detained after using a mechanical excavator to dig a hole in the Great Wall of China to create a shortcut. Chinese media say police in Shaanxi province followed tracks made by the machinery. Officials said they had caused irreversible damage to that part of the structure. There's been a sharp rise in the number of people claiming asylum in European Union member countries. New figures show more than 500,000 arrivals asked for refugee status during the first half of this year, an increase of more than a quarter on the same period in 2022. The EU agency responsible says those fleeing Syria and Afghanistan constitute the biggest groups. Ahead of the G20 summit to be held in India later this week, there's been confusion and debate as invites from the president for an official dinner refers to India as Bharat. The name is widely used domestically and is also mentioned in the country's constitution. Our South Asia correspondent, Yogita Limaye, reports.
Invites have gone out to G20 delegates from the President of the Republic of Bharat, which has triggered widespread speculation about whether Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's government is set to change the official name of the country. People in India refer to the nation interchangeably as India or Bharat, but many see India as the more modern name. The Constitution's first line reads, India, that is Bharat, should be a union of states. National ministers say it is therefore legal to use the name Bharat.
Taiwan's President Tsai Ing-wen has set off on a state visit to Eswatini, the only African country which has diplomatic ties with Taipei. She is to attend the 55th anniversary of the country's founding, which is also the 55th birthday of King Mswatini III. Taiwan has provided large amounts of aid to the small southern African country ruled by an absolute monarchy. BBC News.
Praise the Lord, praise the Lord. God is good. This is already pastor and friend, Reverend Simon Peter Jones, inviting you, my friends, to listen every Tuesday evening on Best 100 FM at 7:30 p.m. for the program, The Voice of Hope, as we extend hope to the hopeless in this dying world. God is good. Be encouraged. Hope is in the Lord.
Best 100.5 FM brings you youth empowerment and resilience. A 30-minute program with Walton McLaren every Monday from 7:30.
Looking to clean your vehicle super clean? 123 Clean Car Wash, located at 2 1/4 Osborne Road, Kingston 10. Entrance on Grove Road, below Tropical Battery. They wash and vacuum, undercarriage wash, engine wash, polish and compound, shampoo and detailing. Call them at 876-631-3400. 123 Clean Car Wash, the best in the business for a cleaner wash.
Believe me, it's so easy.
Best 100 FM presents the Mature and Moving Up Show, Lascelles Butch Chen, on Thursdays from 6 to 9 p.m. Welcome to this pioneering radio program on our continuing work in our maturing years, compellingly defined to educate and liberate the younger generation. Tune in and welcome.
Half a tree, one and drive, half a tree. Bossy, how you do I take taxi start?
Chano, I want to tell you, say, 2 months now, my transmission mash up, and I check everybody and can't hear nothing positive.
Yeah, hear me? Yeah, waste all that time I shop around and never call the experts. Winters Auto have them. Them have over 35 years of experience and them diagnose the problem and get back your transmission brand new. For them service excellent and efficient. Trust me, man. Yeah, hear me? Call them at 929-7040 or go to them at 106 Maxfield Avenue, Kingston 13 and talk directly to the boss. Just tell them I'm me, send you.
You big star. Yeah, man, respect my boss.
Try and call him, guys. Trust me.
Winters Auto Spares and Repairs. Good afternoon.
Ah, what a relief.
Veteran Printers for all your printing needs. We specialize in calendars, flyers, brochures, and more. Call us today at 968-7506. That's 968-7506. Or visit us at 4 East Bloomsbury Road, off Haggard Park Road. Veteran Printers, your best choice in printing.
Best 100 FM is the authentic voice of Jamaica, promoting your prosperity with better vibes and better music. Let us promote your goods and services for you. Advertise with us. For more information, call our office at 876-276-8935. That's 276-8935.
The Morning Connection is not your usual talk show. We aim to stimulate discussion and chart new paths to self-empowerment. So please join us, Minette and Percy, on The Morning Connection, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Best 100.
It's good, it's better, but nothing beats.
Good morning and welcome back. It's 8:10 a.m. We're about to open our lines. Let me remind you of the numbers to call: 619-1508 and 279-8473. Please pull your best ideas together and let's talk. Lowell has revisited the Ministry of Education's Adopt a School program, and we are speaking in unity on how great it would be if persons just put their hat in the ring and started to be a blessing to the school, your local school. Don't have to be a national effort. You can just focus on what's in your neighborhood, what's near to you, what's close to you. Do it through your PTA if there's one. If not, just you. Go and find out what is it that you can do. The chairman of the school is an important personality in all this, obviously. If you're not able to get through to the ministry, but you can get through to your local school chairman, have a conversation on what can be done. Even if what you can do is pull citizens together in a little fundraiser, a fish fry, a round robin, whatever it is that you can do to help them get what they need to have in place so your students can, have a better experience in school.
In the same breath, we want to invite the community organizations to partner with your schools. let's get the people within the community involved in our daily lives, because too often, we start community organizations and then they just fade. Nothing happens. And if we don't have activities to keep people together, then it will fail. So let us stop depending on others to solve our problems. Let us get together and seek to solve our problems for ourselves. Because believe me, the good Lord didn't make us lacking anything. We have everything that we need. We just need to activate it.
The abundant life theory.
Yes, definitely.
Years ago, when I was chairperson of the Prime Minister's Youth Committee, this was the one started by Prime Minister P.J. Patterson. One of the early projects we looked at it was looking at political tribalism and putting forward ideas on how we could break the back of that particular beast. And one of the things we noticed as we were doing the research, talking to people, was that communities are, we use the word community, but most persons were not living in community, because community has a natural meaning. Just the word itself tells you that you are existing in unity in a common geographic area, or there is some shared bond which typifies the community experience. So we were discovering that persons were being described as, a place was being described as a community.
Yes.
Or persons were being described as community members, but they really had nothing in common, and they were not existing in unity.
Right.
And so the community may have a particular name. Let's say it's Sherlock Avenue. But in Sherlock Avenue, you had different, distinct groups each group had something which bonded them, but you didn't have a cohesive community.
Right.
So one side of the road, this is how the tribalism was expressed. One side of the road is a community, the other side is a community. Really? And they share one road.
Yeah.
And then there's a fight over who can walk on what side. So we were discovering that the struggles of life in Jamaica really had contaminated or created dysfunction in communities. And so there was a need, there had to be then a fix and overcoming of whatever those issues were. So when we say bond with the school in your neighborhood, that can become the point for community.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, you see, I remember growing up, we used to have sporting events, football extravaganza. We had netball, we had cricket, where one community is playing against the next community. I mean, we would travel to other communities to have these sporting events, and everybody would come out and support them. I mean, it was such fun. I remember we used to even travel on the train.
Yes, no, you wake up, George.
To leave from Spanish Town.
We just love to hear about traveling on the train.
To Porus, to play football at that field in Porus. And I remember.
Oh, yeah, you showed me that field.
Yes, that field had ackee trees around. And we got in early in the morning and we picked ackee. We got flour. And we cooked.
And lost the football match?
We lost the match.
Laden down by dumplings and ackee.
We were full.
Oh, by the way,
it was such fun.
I was in a supermarket.
It was such fun.
What did you cook with the ackee? What y'all did? Just ackee, or you got saltfish?
Dumpling and
no meat?
Yeah, we had saltfish, man.
I heard a lady in a supermarket extolling the virtues of ackee and chicken back.
Whoa, that's
somebody did to call me and everybody she was talking to, the group she was talking to, were all amazed, like, ackee. She said, hey, you need to try it.
All right.
She said ackee and chicken back. Yes, it's a delightful thing. All right.
But those
we've opened the lines.
Yes, yeah, they'll call it over. Those community activities were fun.
Yeah.
Fun. You see, when it comes to summer holidays, oh my word, table tennis, swimming, cricket, you name it.
But that sounds like you had a community center. Did you have a community center?
Yeah, a community
All right.
center.
So what's
And the
missing in
community center
Jamaica?
was a nice little building. Well, you see, that is it. That's the thing. That's
you
not
remember?
mine.
You remember when we were in Paris and we looked out and saw?
Right. Oh, yeah.
Yes, and it sparked a dream yet to be realized. We shall do it.
Yeah, man.
We shall do it.
We have to.
We need to revive the community centers. Good morning and welcome to the Morning Connection. Good morning and welcome.
Oh, the call is not here.
All right, so
I wish to place my order.
What's it for Akian? What are you ordering? Akian chicken back or Akian dumplings? Aki soup. Oh, I haven't had that one yet.
No.
That sounds like when the Aki overcooked.
Yes.
That sounds like a mistake. Tell me about the Aki soup.
Right?
Yes.
Cream soup. What you tell you on the product the cream. Right? So you use the Aki to blend it up
Yes.
and pour it in. and just have some herbs sprinkled across it.
So Akian, well, I tell you, I'm also writing it down because you said it.
But we're not hearing it so clearly. I don't know. The call is not so clear.
I'm sorry.
Wow, the call is.
There's something it seems he's gonna do on his side to make it better.
Because I mean, I'd love to hear that recipe that is.
All right, Jigsaw. We're here. Try again, please. Let's see if it's any better.
No, that connection is bad.
Sorry, I'll call.
Okay, I
Yeah,
think he's
that
gonna call back.
connection
Is
is
there
bad.
another
Sorry
call on the
about
line? Good morning and welcome to the Morning Connection.
Good morning.
Good morning, Joe.
You're not calling me name, you know.
Which one?
Some people are not calling me name, you know. My character.
What did you hear? Train?
Food into soup.
No, what did you hear? Train? Is that your name?
Soup, not food.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool. No, you're talking about that.
The minute Lowell said he traveled on the train, I said, "You're gonna wake up, George."
Yeah.
I just love hearing about the train rides. And sure enough,
I met a very lovely lady on the train traveling from Spanish Town to Montego Bay.
Is she the one that got away, George?
Yes. One of my child mother, you know. What? Hold on, not tell you.
No, we're not laughing.
No, that minute suspect.
That's a
nice,
story.
very nice, a brown lady, as I showed that. Nice. I remember when I look at chat, I was doing sales. I was going down to Montego Bay, down by the green office down there, yeah. So I met her. And it was a nice, drive, go to and forth, and, so, a lot of people have memory with the train, and people just want to maybe just continue to go on it. But I had that.
Yes.
Hold on, the judge. One second. I just want to find out which part of that was really so. Is it the lady or the train ride? Which one?
Well, the lady, because the train one lead to another.
Oh, all right, okay. All right, continue.
It was the train ride, and a lot of people coming out because, listen me now, if you want to know places, go on the train.
Oh, yeah.
The train going to stop at every district and everything. You say, I don't have to name Magati. I don't have to name Olaba, I have to name Suza, I have to name William Seal.
Yeah.
So it's up all these places so you can get to know these places. I say, wow, we don't want to stop at this place. So, but when you're going to Bagua, you want to go to a dark place, the dark alley. I hear people scream out inside of it. You understand me? The train run is all the country in the world, even in New York.
Yeah, man.
Amtrak, train running. In France, train runs.
Yeah.
South Africa, train run. Why would I want to abandon such a thing? I think you're supposed to be the second set of people, country that get train, And the train came from Germany and then Canada.
I know that we're among the first. So I want to ask a very important question.
Sure.
How did you two name the child in honor of that train ride?
Let me see. Let me try to remember. I think we should have drink a cup of coffee before we start answer this question. I can bring back my memory. So that child, it was a son.
Mm-hmm. What do you mean what?
Yeah, I gave him my.
So what? He's no more.
First name like George too.
He died.
And the mother.
Yeah.
Well, they want to get married to her, but her mother told her that her mother was in New York.
Mm-hmm.
So that if she married, she now be able to file for her.
File for her.
And she has it, she's pregnant and have the child here. She said, no, bring the child, come on. Then we communicate. She did get married to somebody else up there.
Mm-hmm.
And my son, we communicate, and he was in the U.S. Marine. Marine.
Mm-hmm.
He was a staff sergeant, yeah?
Yeah.
So we still communicating, saying they come down and look for me and stuff like that. And even after my baby mother, she got divorced.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, well, there's no man like you. When I come from work, when I came up to where you are and started to work, and I came in from work and you washed my foot with the baking soda and cleaned it up and stuff like that. She said, I never forget that.
Mm-hmm.
She said, real men are in the West Indies, not in America. Yeah, so that was something there, and I'm still looking out for her. You know?
So what happened to your son? How did your son? So what happened to your son? He died.
No, we're still coming in. No, man, he's still here, man.
I can never hear the question.
No, you didn't. Well, I'm so glad that the romance continues.
That's good, George.
And the fruit of your youth
so continues to prosper. Keep storing up the baking soda because you're gonna need it, I'm sure.
No, man, if you like, you know where I work. That's why sometimes me get rid of some shoes what they call them dry rack. Because I don't know why I don't wear shoes. But the slippers are barefoot. Communicate. You understand me? So my sister sent some other shoes and I say, man, you put on him, say, yeah, man, but I just want my foot to breathe. That is it.
All right, so you recommend washing your feet with baking soda?
Yeah, if you want to see a miracle, just put some baking powder on your foot same way and just rub it and then put it in some warm water with a little Epsom salt. And it relax the foot and relax the blood inside of the foot.
All right, consider it.
Man. And trust me, you're going to feel so nice. Your foot will relax, the blood vessel, everything, post-circulation. That's the way your foot won't be all right. You can't stand up with your driveway. Sometimes when I used to drive, I used to drive barefoot, you know.
And you're saying that is best done by the man for the woman.
Yes, man, the man, they must take care of the lady. The lady come, your wife come inside, you look after the foot, man.
George, I'm making sure that no one...
George, you can't...
you after you are your man. You must take care of the wife, man, because listen, you know.
I'm making sure that Lowell and Lloyd are listening. Lloyd, you hear it? All right, okay.
Tell them, if you tell them, they hear them, must take care of the woman.
So just so they know, baking soda, a baking soda scrub, Epsom salt in the warm water.
Yeah, put the foot inside it.
Yes.
I make the foot in the soak and then they can scrub the foot and things like that.
All right, I'm writing it down. I'm going to share.
Remember, George is not with the lady anymore. So.
You stop talking because I make up from Spanish come. We don't know everything rough, you know. You see, no, Miss Bennett forget our foot look after.
I'm telling you, Miss Bennett is already dreaming about it. I do love
it.
Brother, we will tell you the result of it.
Will relax you.
We'll get the result of it. I'll send it to Percy as well so that him can.
Yeah, we're going to share it with Pastor Percy as well.
Pastor Percy, secondly, what is happening? What is this with these teachers migrating? Trust me, that was very, very horrible. Because some time ago, I heard the government, the Minister of Education, said that all the teachers will be paid properly. And then a teacher came and said she's on 2 months and away on her rent.
Mm-hmm.
And the money not reach to her yet.
That is what we've been talking about this morning, because the finance minister having promised that the teachers are going to be better off. Not just teachers, but in this whole public sector reform that they did for wages, that people would be better off. Yeah. They're going to lose some things, but they're going to gain so much more. They will be better off. And to hear that the teachers in particular are still out there, and so many of them have had to pack up and go. And it's mostly the experienced teachers, too, because they lost so much in the reform process.
Anyway, let's just bear in mind
one of the most important teacher, you see, math teacher, them.
Yes. And
you can't make them left the country,
And the math and English ones are,
We have to remember, though, that Jamaica will never be able to compete in terms of salary when it comes to paying the teachers. So therefore, it must be more than salary. It must be how we treat them. It must be the conditions under which they work.
Like those foot scrubs, because teachers stand up all day.
So if you're looking at straight salary, I mean, if a teacher is getting $1,500, right? You look at that when you and that's US dollars. When you convert that, you see what that converts to in Jamaica. So the truth is we can't compete when it comes to that aspect of it, but we certainly can do better in terms of the working conditions and how we treat them. Because I'm sure they're not just leaving because of money. It's a combination of factors. Yeah?
That is true. Because you continue saying, we train the teachers very good and they're all right. And the teacher crying and say, I can't take this anymore. I am 2 months away on my rent. Don't come, and then where the minister wanted to wear glasses name again.
Oh dear, many of them wear glasses.
We're going to make sure that she gets it this month. So you with the lady, how much thing the teacher have to go through? After waiting on there, have to deal with the student them who have them stress problem at the yard and come and want to fight the teacher, and then family, so much thing them have to go through.
Yeah.
There was a video of a lady in Barbados that the student them start to give her a problem, and I said now, and she was seen with a cutlass. You saw the video?
No.
Yeah, she would have machete because she was telling them to back off. You know what I mean? So now by the time we see teachers get into to defend different type of mode to defend themselves. You know what I mean? And after doing all of that, you're going like you don't want to pay the teachers them. And when you go talk about, well, if them go and love for import teacher, all right. So you have to pay the teacher them. Here, so you have to pay them 200,000. When the father then come, you give them 1 million. Why? Douglas, why?
My brother, we're at 8:30 mark. We're gonna take our station break.
All right, you take care now.
You too, my brother. Thank you for calling.
Okay.
Are you in search of genuine shocks, power steering pumps, engine mount, fender liners, strut mount, front end parts, engine parts, electrical switches, sensors, and so much more for your Honda Ridgeline vehicle? Well, look no further. Contact Mormac Auto Parts at 326-7371 or 821-5232. Remember, Mormac Auto Parts, your Honda Ridgeline new parts dealer. We're located in Kingston. Call us at 326-7371 or 821-5232 for more details.
On the beach.
Virtual Printers for all your printing needs. We specialize in calendars, flyers, brochures, and more. Call us today at 968-7506. That's 968-7506. Or visit us at 4 East Bloomsbury Road, off Haggard Park Road. Virtual Printers, your best choice in printing.
Looking to clean your vehicle super clean? 123 Clean Car Wash. Located at 2 1/4 Osborne Road, Kingston 10. Entrance on Grove Road, below Tropical Battery. They wash and vacuum, undercarriage wash, engine wash, polish and compound, shampoo and detailing. Call them at 876-631-3400. 123 Clean Car Wash. The best in the business for a cleaner wash.
Believe me, it's so easy. 1, 2, 3. Ready for the warfare, oh yeah. Ready for the warfare.
And the world, you want us back? We are back. The Deliverance Ministry, led by me, the prophet Mark Stewart, right here on Best 100 FM. This and every Thursday night from 9 p.m. to 12 midnight. Yes, it's Raw Room Thursday. Come on out and join us, each and every one, on Best 100 FM. 100.1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. Come on out. Join me, the prophet, Reverend Mark Stewart, and of course, the boss shot, Apostle Marshall. Come for your healing, breakthrough, deliverance, the prayer, the miracle, the word, the testimony, and so much more. Yes, my friends, Best 100 FM, Best 100 FM, War Room Thursday, 9 p.m. to 12 midnight. Join us. We are going to
Oh, yeah. Ready for the warfare. Ready for the warfare.
What should a taxi service do for you? On-time taxi service is more than just a ride to the other side of town. They offer clean and spacious vehicles, reliable service, and promise to always look out for their customers. They'll come when you call and take you where you want to go on time.
From anywhere you can call us on 926-3866.
We are something special on the road.
For a better choice in all your electrical supplies, A, authorized 3M dealer and better brand names. B, better service including free island-wide delivery. C, all major credit and debit cards accepted. It's ABC Electrical Sales, shop number 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10. Open Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturday 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. We make your electrical jobs as easy as ABC. Call 754-382-528 or fax 754-3659. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice.
Best 100 FM is the authentic voice of Jamaica, promoting your prosperity with better vibes and better music. Let us promote your goods and services for you. Advertise with us. For more information, call our office at 876-276-8935. That's 276-8935.
The Morning Connection is not your usual talk show. We aim to stimulate discussion and chart new paths to self-empowerment. So please join us, Minette and Percy, on the Morning Connection, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Best 100 FM.
It's good, it's better, but nothing beats.
Good morning and welcome back to the caller online. Thank you for holding. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Good morning again.
Good morning. Oh, this is so much better.
I hope I haven't shocked you too much.
No, you have not shocked me.
Beg your pardon?
You have not shocked me. Yeah, no. I have seen Aki soup, but it's usually usually when they overcook the Aki and it becomes a mess. But now that you're telling me, it can actually be converted into a good edible soup. Lowell wants the recipe.
Not in totality, you know. It is like you would do any ordinary soup, particularly if you sort of mince up the vegetables and things. And when wait 2 minutes before you finish, you just pour in your ackee, which you would have blended up, and then good to go. Sprinkle some herb seeds on top.
All right.
And you have an excellent meal.
Okay.
And, was it George who spoke last?
Yes.
Yeah. Excellent turkey is
is pointing to
that foot bath. Oh, listen, man, I'm gonna do it for myself.
Yeah, man, and it will be helpful for the teachers and anybody else. But the teachers really focus on education.
Right.
So it should launch out a program, and it's a doctor school program. Right now, we should be focusing on see that there's adequate hydration in the school, cooling,
yes,
and at least one hot meal a day for those who want it. Maybe somebody carry stuff with them to keep the children going.
Yes.
And if we have it, why can't we do that?
Oh, definitely.
I don't see why not.
Not why. I mean, for each person who called, it would be good if a person called and said, listen, I am going to be doing this. You know, because we have become experts at identifying the problems and speaking about the problems.
No, I'm dealing with something that will help. It will solve the total problem.
No, man, and I'm saying yes to what you have said. And I'm also saying let's just move it a step further now and say, well, I'm pledging XYZ to you know, whatever. You know, I'm just saying in general. I'm just saying this to you. You follow what I'm saying?
But we have people in place to accomplish the thing, because we don't need to we don't touch where the people who have good
my brother, it needs to be done.
Community. It wants to be whole scale, particularly the meals, the hydration, and the cooling.
Yeah, man. Listen, it needs to be done. Whether it is patchy or whole scale, whatever, just get it done, and that is my thing. Get it started.
Right. Okay. Can we talk a little bit too much about
there you go.
What the problem is? And I agree with you. I'm not doing what we can to, you know, help with the situation.
Solve the problems.
I'll leave it at that. I don't want to score too many runs.
And thanks for the recipe.
All right.
Yes.
Blessings.
So you're going to try out the ackee soup? Good morning and welcome to the Morning Connection. Good morning. Good morning. So I'm querying, sir, when are you trying the ackee soup? I know you love ackee, so you hear ackee, you think...
To be honest, that will only happen if I get the butter ackee variety and the ackee and Charles Vitz.
Yeah, but he says blend it.
But no, I hear.
Yeah. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Good morning.
Good morning, Cruz.
Mr. Cruz, good morning, sir.
Who woke you up? Was it Lowell?
No.
Oh.
Get up from about 2 o'clock.
3 a.m.?
Yeah. I had my son khaki pants. I never remember what to do it in the night.
How beautiful to hear that.
As I only make it seem good enough.
Yeah.
What? Well,
more I hear jigsaw, you know. I'm not really a phone man, you know. Not even text, we can text. Back in ideas, we used to text from one banger, but that's a long time. I remember how we text on the smartphone, you know. You know, like, press it to this, because I have some things.
You can talk to
I think I came here for a purpose, you know. I come here for a purpose, and, you know, delete it.
Oh,
so now I hope my son continue with it.
So you're feeling the press of time.
Well, when we want to talk about now is last night, now watch the news and we see the education ministry or whatever you want to call it.
Minister is
she was at a school and the main teacher, them show with her at the school wear green uniform. The girls wearing all green uniform. You know, so I was smiling about it. I wonder if this teacher really choose that teacher to send a message.
Boy, it seems like you received the message, and therefore no need to ask.
You're ascribing some significance to the color of the uniform.
Well, it's not the first time.
Are there any schools that wear orange uniform?
Tivoli Gardens High School wore orange. I think they still do. What are we saying?
The news media, the news.
He's looking at the curating of the news. Did they specifically cover the minister visiting a school that wears green uniform? But whether they did or didn't, it meant something to you, so you could just take the message and leave it at that?
The other thing I want to talk about, they were talking about the teachers that were leaving the country. The same news. And they brought in this man to say something about it. What's his name again? Lakam something another?
It's Michael James.
Huh?
Lakam Simaj.
Right.
Formerly known as Michael James.
That's not true because Jamaican always migrate to work. But not like now. Jamaican have never left this country. Like what they've been doing the past 8 years. Trust me, I'm going to follow this from
there occasionally we do have an exodus, Here it has happened. It has happened in the 70s. It has happened in the 80s. It happened in the 90s.
The only great exodus we have before now like this was in the 70s to 80s when Michael Manley, that's why we're bringing communism. That's the only time I can remember so much people.
But Chris, the preoccupation with the numbers is only half the story. And I continue to be kind of perplexed why we don't just move on to the conclusion that the numbers invite. We're talking about the numbers. People are leaving. People have always left. Why do they leave? They leave at different points for different reasons. But the bottom line is when they leave, there is a gap that has to be filled, and we have to determine how to do so. And for me, that's the end point. People always leave. People die. People resign. People retire. People exercise their right to go to greener pastures as they see it. And those things happen all the time. It's happening. Every time it happens, it leaves a hole somewhere. And we have to take a decision how to fill it, should we fill it, and how do we plan against these contingencies. That to me is the real conversation.
Mm-hmm. That's the exact point, man.
Yeah.
Some people make it look like there's no problem if they leave. There's a problem if all of them good teacher, older teacher leave, and the bright teacher leave.
But you see, because we abolished slavery, the moment you can compel people to stay and work, you should always be prepared for their departure.
Slavery abolished this minute?
Yes.
When?
Well, it has never.
You work on?
I have never been enslaved.
Which plantation?
For example, so if you are in doubt about your enslavement or your freedom, that's a personal matter. Yeah. Slavery has been abolished. As an activity in Jamaica, it was abolished.
There's one more thing I want to say. You see this man name that I just called the Lakam Manada?
Yes.
And Carlin Cooper?
Yes.
All you see those people pop up with paper in our Gleaner and the TV and the radio. And then say some things when I wonder if then people have sense. Have a nice day.
But I wouldn't at least need to know what they said.
Oh, no, that's okay. He's out. He's out.
Good morning and welcome to the Morning Connection. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Good morning.
Morning, Wayne.
Morning, my brother.
Good morning. Just a tune in for morning anyway,
So that means you don't know what we've been talking about?
No, I don't know what we've been talking about.
All right, what's on your mind?
Something I'm reading in the Bible where I keep questioning myself, not understanding it.
Yeah.
The part with David, when he take the census, it shows that the Lord tell David to take a census of Israel. But after that, it shows that the Lord punished David for taking the census of Israel. So I say, you kind of have me thinking,
yes.
What is this? What is this?
Well,
the Lord tell you to do it, and turn around and punish you. No way in tell you to do. Have me thinking.
So the account of David and the census is in two different books of the Bible. I think you find it in Kings in the book of Kings, and you find it in the book of, which one were you reading it from? Chronicles, Kings?
Yeah, Kings.
In the book of Kings, okay. You will find
Samuel. I think that's Samuel.
Samuel. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So you'll find it the account is in 2 different books of the Bible. In one, it just says David took a census, and it talks about him telling the commander of his army, I think Joab, to go out and count. And you hear Joab telling him, "Not a good idea, King. The army is small. It has always been small. The might of the army is not in the army itself. It is the support that God gives us. Do not count it. It is a foolish act." So we get to see why the Lord ultimately punished him. And he forced the commander and said, "Go, I've commanded, do." And so the census was done, but the commander very smartly did not conduct a census of his own city. When you look at it, you'll see that the commander didn't go counting in his city. He counted up to a point. In the other telling of it, which I could check and tell you, the other account of it, it says that the Lord was angry with Israel and provoked David into taking a census. So that's where you learn that the invitation to the king to take the census was a strategy deployed by God to bring out a certain result. And when the punishment came, we have learned so much from the punishment, because as you read it, you know that the prophet was sent to tell David that you have done a foolish thing. But it wasn't only the prophet who told David. His own commander had said to him, "Bad idea."
Yeah.
And from it, we get the important lesson.
Yeah. Thank you for your reasoning.
But can I tell you one thing before, Wayne, because you said it has perplexed you? God stirring up the heart of man to consider things which are not good for us is not a new thing. He did it with Pharaoh. He hardened Pharaoh's heart. And we see time and again that God uses our own vanity and our own pride to test us and see if we can, in spite of whatever we are seeing and hearing, if we can find a righteous conclusion.
Yeah.
Go on now.
When I was thinking about it, that come to my mind too, something did I go wrong. And also what come to my mind is that if never sin, make God make me sin, that anybody else, not even me, myself, make me sin.
Yes.
Because God is the highest,
Yes.
That's what my thought. But one more thing to know.
Yeah.
Now read again to Kings, I think after Samuel, I think Jeroboam or something like that. When the prophet go to him and tell him, and talk to him about God, tell him, say nothing eat, nothing in that era, eat and drink, nothing.
Yeah.
When the man go back home and feature the next part, him rest underneath a tree, and the next prophet go to him and tell him a lie, say God tell him to come eat with him.
Yes, the old prophet and
after him eat, I go home, a lie and jump out and kill him.
Yes.
So that shows the seriousness of obedience to God's exact word. I mean, no one changes, even if it's the next prophet.
Even if it's another prophet, true.
Yeah.
So you got it,
the
man.
teacher thing now.
Yes.
The teacher thing now, right? All right. So a lot of teachers live in this country, gone in for better pasture. Really and truly. The little pasture where they are, so certain people grab it up. So naturally you have to go seek better pasture, right?
Yes.
And if the school system let out so many uneducated children, I don't know how them are going to full up that gap that is being left there. If you have produced the brain to fulfill that gap, I'm not wrong if we have flooded the world with teachers, as long as we know we are producing enough to fulfill our work.
Yes.
And we are producing even more than enough where we can go fulfill the works all over the world. That would be beautiful, but when they're not producing enough, there will be a gap. A big gap.
No, that is true. And although there are some timing implications with what we're talking about, meaning the children being educated now won't hit the market for another, 10 to 12 years. And so even if we, in that crop, are some teachers who are not going to be of the best quality because they didn't have a good foundation, the issue is always what to do right now, today, as we are facing the classrooms, whether they have too many children or not enough teachers, whatever the case might be. So you're always having to plan for the immediate need as well as for the medium to long-term need. And the immediate need is what is suffering right now.
And as it said, critical thinking, logical reasoning. When we look on the history of these people and what they are doing, we see that they are not really for us. So it's we the people who have this consciousness, who realize what is going on, we look for more, with more sense, we have to make the change. They are not going to do it. You could have chatted now to the remote drop a ground. They are not going to change. We who are not living here have to make the difference. Have a good day.
Thank you, Wayne.
All right, my brother. Blessings.
Thank you. Good morning and welcome to the Morning Connection.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
How are you?
Very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm very fine. Are you?
Yes.
And to the Lion, let's say.
Blessings, my brother.
All right. Before I the Honorable Virgin Cruz. To him not see the lion there inside you, but tell him to him be careful how him talk, because me see that the lion there.
Yes.
Anyway, Empress, like when you eat or drink something and it itch up in your pipe and you carry your drink and eat it, just itch up.
It won't be dislodged.
Yeah.
So what's in your pipe?
The words of the finance minister concerning his explanation why they still pay the people who rob up the money. So they have to go and pay them to see how they have the money. I understand.
Hey, that one, Wow. I think he had it was better if he had just remained quiet where that is concerned. That one going to stay in your pipe. You're going to have to surgically remove it.
And then them have the computer and everything at them fingertip now. Then you can change up and do every little thing. Oh, you have to pay. They'll say, you have to pay the man who wrap up the money to see how they have the money.
A couple of things came up when I read it. If you have a financial investigation division that is you resource it in order to investigate financial crimes, and you find a big financial crime, but you must keep the same persons who were working in it when the crime was committed, you must keep them employed in order for you to figure out what was done. I'm trying to understand if that's a necessity, because they say it is. I'm trying to understand, what are those people doing precisely? Because as you say, are they still having access to the same devices, equipment, records that reflect the crime? What are they doing, and why would you need so many of them if it's a crime scene? I remember when they treated our business place as a crime scene, they moved out all of the employees and they put their people in there.
Man, this is comedy. And the next thing again to Empress.
Yeah.
The head of the country, he must say, the 6 people them who under investigation now, him ask round, him not hear nothing. But he not ask the 6 people them when we...
Clearly. Okay. And he hasn't really given a checklist of all the people he spoke to. Him just say, all the people him asked say is not them.
So in the active tour,
yes. Hey, that is there are some occasions for silence. If you're gonna just talk the truth, or you're gonna say, I have no comment on that matter.
I mean, the Integrity Commission table a report. You're the head of the country, Should I hear this one?
Mm-hmm.
Concerning the parliament members, no, you're the one, and you don't know, I ask you, and every man says, boy, I don't know, I don't know, so you come like the ask,
but somehow you manage, in all you're asking, you have managed to avoid the ones who would say, yes, PM, it's me, and yeah.
Food for thought. Food for thought. Food for thought, my brother.
It's embarrassing.
I don't
You just wanted to give a good laugh.
Continue to ponder them throughout the day.
Yes.
That's why it's a great dessert. I'm going to sit there after we get right. Anyway, that's it, Lord.
Blessings, my brother.
Just give himself a good laugh there. Yeah, it is. It really was an occasion for silence. Good morning and welcome to the Morning Connection. Good morning.
Call out there.
Yeah. Let me share you something that Taki said, which I is worth sharing. Oh, good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Good morning and good morning to everyone.
Good morning, my dear lady.
Yes, it's a good thing we can have some joke, some good, in this time here.
Yes, laughter does make the spirit glad.
Yeah, and my son usually make happy peas first.
Oh, yes, I've had that. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, and it was very nice, you know. Yeah. And you know, you have butter ackee.
Yes.
So that's the one that would be good for the soup.
Yes.
Right. And again, my the train time, my station was Magati.
Ah, okay.
Yes. Yes, I just want to touch on
yeah, man.
And again, yeah, we have this song. If I have a hammer, I would hammer in the morning. Hammer out the love between my brothers and my sister all over this land.
Yes.
Yes. So, I think on Sunday, we hear the news about the couple somewhere in Cambridge District, St. Elizabeth, police say. They have some problem, and the man did not put the lady name on the will. So she beat him with a hammer and killed him.
Yes, yes. Unfortunately.
This is like a 73, both senior citizens, and oh boy.
So, you know, so the police was saying, hear about the gun, and so, you know, that's causing the violent attack, and but now it's a hammer.
Well, I mean, was he?
That's in the heart of man, you know. That's the problem.
And then any weapon will do.
Anything that is at hand, they're gonna use.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yes. So I remember the song. So I was singing it, and you know, I was kind of smiling because sometimes them say I have to take bad things.
I'm a for the wrong purpose. Right, my sister, thank you so much.
Yes, okay.
Thank you. Thanks for calling us.
I don't hear you.
Have a wonderful day. Thank you for calling and sharing with us.
Okay, you too.
Thank you.
Yes, okay.
All right, so it's 9 o'clock. We're taking our station break. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
Beautiful.
You see
Blast FM 100 on your dial. Keep listening.
Ew, baby, you sick? Drink this.
Wrong back tonic wine. Oh, baby, you look like you want to sort out.
You think that's all Trangback good for? This delicious tonic wine has natural ingredients like Fizzy, Medina, Moringa, and more to strengthen your body so you can fight off anything, including viruses. Wait, don't like you, Gage. Available island-wide, all foreign. Order at 749-1286 option 1 or IG Trangback TW. Trangback.
Straight me back for me.
Do you need reliable health care? We have it. Yes, we do. Great George Street Pharmacy. Shop number 897 Great George Street, Savannah Lamar, Westmoreland. Opening hours, Mondays to Saturdays, 8:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Call us at 876-603-7372 or WhatsApp us at 876-205-0499. Yes, we have reliable health care for you at Great George Street Pharmacy, Savannah Lamar.
What should a taxi service do for you? On-time taxi service is more than just a ride to the other side of town. They offer clean and spacious vehicles, reliable service, and promise to always look out for their customers. They'll come when you call and take you where you want to go on time.
From anywhere you can call 526-3866.
We are something special on the road.
Arbitrary, one and drive, arbitrary. How do I take taxi start? John, I want to tell you, say, 2 months now, my transmission mash up, and I check everybody and can't hear nothing positive. Yeah, hear me? Yeah, wait all that time I shop around and never call the experts. Winters Auto have them. Them have over 35 years of experience and then diagnose a problem and get back your transmission brand new. For them service excellent and efficient. Trust me, man. Yeah, hear me? Call them at 929-7040 or go to them at 106 Maxfield Avenue, Kingston 13 and talk directly to the boss. Just tell them I'm me send you. You big star. Yeah, man. Respect my boss. Try calling him, cause trust me. What a relief.
Praise the Lord, praise the Lord. God is good. This is already Pastor and friend Reverend Simon Peter Jones, inviting you, my friends, to listen every Tuesday evening on Best 100 FM at 7:30 p.m. for the program The Voice of Hope, as we extend hope to the hopeless in this dying world. God is good. Be encouraged. Hope is in.
For a better choice in all your electrical supplies. A, authorized 3M dealer and better brand names. B, better service including free island-wide delivery. C, all major credit and debit cards accepted. It's ABC Electrical Sales. Shop number 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10. Open Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. We make your electrical jobs as easy as ABC. Call 754-382-528 or fax 754-3659. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice. Goodness mercy, it's me again, Lord. Your restorer, your game changer. Join me every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. and Best FM 100. It's Apostle Clive Campbell, aka the Khaki Suit Man, coming to you from 8 to 12 Orange Street, also Richmond District, Mandeville. Embrace the change.
Ready. Is this the confusion you feel when trying to work your way through medical systems in Jamaica? Try a dose of Ask Dr. Mary every Thursday at 5 to 6 p.m. Let Dr. Mary help you understand your medical problems and bring you to a calmer place.
Best 100 FM is the authentic voice of Jamaica. Promoting your prosperity with better vibes and better music. Let us promote your goods and services for you. Advertise with us. For more information, call our office at 876-276-8935. That's 276-8935.
Morning Connection is not your usual talk show. We aim to stimulate discussion and chart new paths to self-empowerment. So please join us, Minette and Percy, on the Morning Connection, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Best 100 FM.
It's good. It's better. But nothing beats.
Welcome back. Good morning, caller.
Good morning.
Thank you for holding, Mr. Cruz.
Miss Minette husband.
You come back with that thing.
Tell that caller that back in my days,
yes,
when I was like 25, 30, 40, when I was king, I was riding everybody's horse, breaking horses. You know,
in Canada,
I had never met with a woman that lived with her spouse, never. Never did. Most of my girls were bad girls. They were on the street, they have guys, but it's like 2, 3. But once they spot me, I'm number one. You know, I'm number one.
So you're number one of 2 or 3, and that make you feel good?
Well, not really, but sometimes just can't resist. The face of, I've been chased so many times. I turned down so many women. They hate me. Firing on out here.
Oh, who hates you?
I know. I'm behaving myself.
Oh, that's so.
No.
I'm happy that you're behaving yourself. I can make a note of this call. This call has not added anything to the upliftment of the nation.
No, all right. What a call about it.
Oh, thank you.
I was walking through the town and there was a 22-footer box truck parked at a fire hydrant, blocking it. And I went to the driver and said, Reggie, you can get a ticket to this, you know. He said, no, you can't get no ticket, you know, because... And then he said, you know who patrol this? You know who patrol this? He said, no. He said, nothing, license, truck, no license. And that's not saying it. Have a nice day.
Oh my goodness. This is welcome to Jamaica is what Cruz is saying. And look at that, the man is shameless.
And tell whose truck it is and boast to say that
it's not even licensed. I hope Cruz went and reported to the police.
Maybe it's the police who owns it. Anyway, I'm just kidding.
No, sir. All right, I wanted to share with you a point that Taki made on the line that I feel where he said it's essential that communities get involved in the schools around them, assisting by whatever means to get the education activities afloat. As long as that process of community involvement goes on, the more the ideas will come. That's just the way it is when good deeds are involved. I'm going to get scripture out for you. Because the good book tells us, do not neglect the gathering of the saints.
Exactly.
There is something supernatural and powerful that happens when good people come together to do something that is, So he's right. When people are working that way, you are blessed with good ideas on how to do more and more of what makes sense for your community. You don't have to become like my high school service club. But you know, on that thing with the service clubs, since then as an adult, I've gone to like various service club meetings, and it's just a get together.
Yeah, but you know, the truth is, you do have quite a few of them that do quite a bit. You might not hear about it, but
they organize some good events.
Yeah.
But for me, I can participate in the event without being in the club.
You need to. So this whole business of
that's what I settled
getting
on.
the communities to just come together and start to do things together. And as Taki, is the one who said it, believe me, it changes things. You know, a lot of positive things come out of it.
Well, and then Conrad made a point about the teachers, and you and I were discussing it in the break. He says teachers were not running away so much. It's the first time, as we went through the history of migration and, you know, the ups and downs of it. He says the first time we would have the evidence, so we should just fact check what Cruz was saying. Something with the government. Me not read the rest of what you read, Conrad. That's not nice what you wrote here. Though I know it is from your heart because you say it every time. But something about how the government is treating this situation has caused the numbers to spike in a very short period of time. So what I was saying to you is that maybe at the end of the year, you will find that the same number of persons have left the country if you're looking at migration. But to see so many leave in a short period of time in close proximity to provocative events is, I think, what is occupying the nation's mind.
We have to remember too that information didn't used to go out as freely as it does now, you know. So even though things were happening in the past, you didn't have social media, you didn't have these various
you didn't have the occasion to contemplate it as it is happening.
As it is, right? Now you do. You know. So
but I'm just thinking
the
that
fact is it's not good.
I'm thinking that what's happening now is unusual. It's unusual because the numbers are high in close proximity to the event that triggered it. So we know for sure teachers are walking away because they are disappointed, feel betrayed, not pleased with the treatment being meted out to them. And that's the focus. To me, even if it were just 10 people leaving,
it's still a bit too much.
It's still a concern that you know, we're treating people in that way. So I see here that a documentary on Portmore Community College is being planned. I know this lady, veteran educator Corinne Richards. I notice it, and what I like about it is that we really do need to document more of our stories and our experiences. So Madame Corinne Richards, principal of Portmore Community College, is planning to develop a documentary exploring the history, relevance, and impact of the institution. I think that's beautiful. She's been at it for 36 years.
Wow.
An educator for 36 years.
Oh, not the same institution.
No, more than a decade of which she spent in leadership, including 8 years at the Portmore. Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
I do hope it gets done. We do need to record our stories.
I do hope that the succession planning is taking place, you know, that you have persons who will step up and continue what she has been doing for so long.
Yeah.
Because so often people will leave and then it ends right
there. It ends right there. And especially, so this is the other thing too, you know, when you have such a huge drift from a profession and just from the country.
Yes.
The excellence, the stories, the knowledge that those people carry, you lose.
You lose it.
Yeah. So that's another huge loss. Good morning and welcome to the Morning Connection. Good morning.
Yes, good morning. Go ahead, please. Wow. The call, the call is breaking up. Not hearing you clearly at all. The call is not good at all. Yeah, the call is not. Okay. First,
we have to try again. Yeah, I'm not sure what is happening with that.
Cell call and it's not. Connection is not.
Was not good. Yeah. So the transfer of knowledge from those who are migrating so quickly. That's also an issue. Good morning and welcome.
Oh, yes.
Oh, perfect. Now, better.
Okay. To the honorable Queen, I was not speaking of your sexual prowess. You told me you're a stallion, but I'm just saying, this particular lioness, lion over her, I'm just giving you with one adjective. So sorry.
Oh, Jesus. What is happening to the callers this morning? Good morning. Good morning and welcome.
How are you?
I am well, thank you.
Yes, well. See where Mr. Hughes somebody called on the CMP secretary, general secretary.
Mr. Who?
Over the comment he made and the person from Nationwide who joined the Labour Party.
What did the PNP Gensec say?
Well, he named up quite a few persons who was employed to Nationwide. And all of a sudden they were announced in the GLP party as key persons.
Yes.
So we kind of see why this station favoritism with the Labour right them so much. Every time something come up grid issues to the people of Jamaica, you see the radio station come out with something to divert the crowd from the real problem in this country. And the topic come up, fill up and the Labour right there, you see Nationwide come with something that just fits the topic right away. And then they stop talking about it and then not talk about the problem at all.
All right. So, of course, you know that the highest expectation of a media house is that it remains neutral. And that's the highest expectation. But in an environment, in a nation where we have freedom of speech and conscience and thought and politics and so on, a partisan media house is possible. Nothing wrong with it. The only thing is that the people should know that it's partisan. So if you know, for example, if you go to a bakery and you get bread, you cannot come out surprised that you didn't get chicken, and what kind of restaurant is that? So those who...
I hear Mr. Hughes the gent make a comment that it is people targeting news people. But in the eyes, it is the eyes of the public, so if they're not get targeted, they're not get targeted again.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
It is in the whole domain of Jamaica. People see and hear things.
Yes. Wow. That makes it...
Because if you have 4-year employee, at least 4 or 5-year employee, just gone over to a particular party
yes.
in the country, that means that something is wrong. Something is definitely wrong.
Can I be balanced on this issue with you, my brother? Because...
Sure, because we both make our solution and we get either opinion.
Right. Yeah. Because we know that all of us are political animals, one way or another. Even if the party we would support no Barney, we have our political opinions, and people are working. They're working in their jobs. Some are in government, some are in private sector. They have their private bias, or all of us have an opinion one way or another. The fact that 3 or 4 or 5 of us go in a particular direction, job hunting, first it would mean that whatever bias you were concerned about in the media house is no longer just a suspicion, it is confirmed then. So it's apparent. And therefore you have the ability to navigate wisely, with wisdom. I don't think, and I think that Mr. Hughes is right, that in a country with politics of such a tribal and aggressive nature, moving closer as we are to elections, the people in the media are high profile in the sense that they're visible. And you really don't want a situation where some negativity or hate begin to reach them in hard to control places, because there is the presumption that all of them share the same political view. The next thing you're gonna know, just like when they had that other incident where a nationwide news person was treated badly at a PNP function, you're gonna have the situation now where Either you're gonna just have to exclude them because you can't guarantee their safety, or the whole news reporting now becomes so biased that you're gonna have a PNP news media house and a JLP1, and then Jamaica is caught in the middle, having to say, "All right, we now need to split the baby."
See, on the topic of the media house, went to the PNP HQ, and
yes,
what happened was wrong. But you see, in the same return time, the crowd control at any political party is hard. It's one of the hardest in the country.
Yes, that's why.
And people say anything there.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying.
You can't hold the head now for something that somebody said at the crowd because of the head, the person.
Yeah, but my brother
are in charge of that.
But my brother, doesn't it get more volatile when your general secretary makes a pronouncement that confirms the bias? Doesn't it get worse? That's why you gave me pause, because a general secretary who say a thing and his people pick it up and it begins to move from hand to hand or mouth to mouth without censor. By the time the person show up in their NNN shirt at an event, he has a target on his back. So that gave me pause. I think as long as I know that this media house favors that party, I know not to take my praise report to them. Because
the same media house and the big of the thing about what the person in the crowd put that to them.
Yes,
and
yes.
It was pushing a different direction,
right. Yeah.
In a different way.
Yes. So in other words, now you have pointed out that they've both done it to each other.
Yes.
Then
in the same return time, as a journalist, you have to analyze certain things that you don't want to run with, because you know it's not. And I say is Mr. Golding or Mr. Golding state in the crowd, so you know so you can hold him accountable for it. It is somebody outside in the crowd.
Yeah, but you see that event
of the party.
Yeah, but that event having taken place already, when you add it to what the general secretary has said, it now make a bad situation worse. We have to be very careful with these things, because you and I don't want to be poring over who did what when something violent takes place because somebody believes that these people are traitors or they're not good and they shouldn't be in your event. Actually, no, if I were Mr. Hughes, I wouldn't send my people to cover any PNP event.
Well, you see,
if he's serious about his comment,
he just utter it in a way that him see that the person leave the radio station and gone.
Yes, because one I know one is a senator.
He wasn't looking at the real issue behind him announcing it.
And the implication of what he has said.
Yes.
Because now, if he says that, and tomorrow, if I work for him and he says that, and tomorrow him send me to go cover some PNP event, I'm going to say that him really sending me to be hurt. So, having said that, he now would have to withdraw his people from a position of danger, because I believe that taken in its plainest meaning, what he has said is true. But if you tell your people that this one is an enemy,
you know what I think I look at too?
Yes.
If we cover story of the country and a whole, we should be neutral, unless we have a station directly for that party and I want that influencing that party.
Yes.
But from that, I feel all of us should be neutral and that all the iron cross all the T.
Well,
so
I believe that is what is still being taught at Karima. I think journalists, people in the profession are still being taught that the delivery of the news is meant to be accurate and neutral and devoid of the kind of emotionalism that would cause persons to go crazy when you're just trying to inform and educate.
Exactly.
Yeah, I believe so. That's the highest expectation from the media. I once heard the head of RJR saying that social media mash up journalism because social media people don't subscribe to any rules of propriety, and now mainstream media is competing for the ears and eyes of people, and so they too are starting to either I have to step up your game. You have to join them or lose your market share. And I suspect this issue that you've raised. Yeah. Somebody said yesterday that the Prime Minister travels around with his own media people.
Yes. They may put out what they want put out.
And they send to the media house what they want. Right. Yeah.
They not put it out.
Yeah.
And just pick out the good stuff and put it out.
And right. Wow. A dark day for the freedom of the press.
We just have a dictator. We just have a dictator in the country. And people now see it. And when them talk, them clap and don't realize it affect them.
Well, the truth is being exposed.
It affect everybody.
The truth is being exposed, so we'll see what happens with it. Thank you, my brother, for that discussion.
Thank you for having me. Have a great day.
Have a great day. Good morning and welcome to the Morning Connection.
Good morning again. Yes, we have a dictator as head of the country.
Yeah, does that prove you, or you like that word?
Well, anyway, I come at this time just to give advice and a Sabbath.
Yes.
Right, to all who listening. You know, when you have prayer has got understanding, wisdom, understanding, and obedience to His will, to His goodness, and make up your mind and pray for that, to ask Him to give you strength so that by talking what is right and doing what is right, if the lion jump out by you to eat you up, you won't change because of fear of pain or death. You know, pray wisely, people. Pray wisely. Because the wiser we pray, are the better God answer we. The God answer holiness. Bless up.
All right, sir. Thank you. Good morning and welcome to the Morning Connection.
Good morning. I should call again, but
well, you got through, so that's your permission.
Yeah. Do you remember this guy by the name of Garfield Burford used to work on TV and he used to have a show where he hosts people?
Yes.
He was the most one-sided journalist I have ever seen in my life. When he interviewed PNP compared to Labour, the question he asked them how he dig them and push them. You know, the guy, where is he? Is he alive?
I don't know, but at what time? Who was in government at the time when he was interviewing?
I don't remember. Honestly, I don't remember who was in government, but I think it was in the 2000 or somewhere there. I don't exactly remember. But
so more likely than not, it was the PNP?
Well, I can tell you one thing. It doesn't matter who was in government, because when PNP is in government, journalists do them anything and get away with it. But you can't do it with this government.
But I wanted you to just take on board that at all times, the person who is going to get the greater pressure is the one in power.
Not always. I tell you, sir, when PNP is in power, people get away. Look at what they're doing. You think they could do it with this guy?
Well, please no.
Call her Jezebel and all kind of stuff.
Please note, Cruz, that don't reflect well on your party. Because it sounds like your party then was a pushover and not taken seriously. And not taken seriously and not capable of defending themselves with power and accuracy.
The PNP party mean weak. Maybe the strongest person I talk about it on me right now.
Yes, but you're talking about something from in the 2000s. That's what? If you just start at 2000. I'm just
talking about journalism. You had journalists that is like that, one-sided. If I was a journalist, I wouldn't be one-sided. I would get the truth, the honest truth.
We're agreed on that. We want journalists to pull out information accurately and fairly. But the tactics that they use is beside the point. A strong person must be able to withstand hard questioning.
Yes, but this prime minister don't want anybody criticizing. You check him out.
Well, he doesn't make himself available for interviews and for discussion, so you would never really know. He makes statements and one or two questions pass the hump, and that's it. Who's gonna, there's considerable freedom that nobody commits to having open sessions with the media or with even with citizens, so you can ask them questions and even ask them uncomfortable questions. Because to me, no question is hard.
That's why I wonder where is this lady that run Orlando. All right then.
All right.
Break. We're on the break.
It's 9:30. Let's take our break. We'll be right back.
Praise the Lord, praise the Lord. God is good. This is already Pastor and friend, Reverend Simon Peter Jones, inviting you, my friends, to listen every Tuesday evening on Best 100 FM at 7:30 p.m. for the program The Voice of Hope, as we extend hope to the hopeless in this dying world. God is good. Be encouraged. Hope is in the Lord.
Best 100.5 FM brings you youth empowerment and resilience, a 30-minute program with Walton McLaren every Monday from 7.
Looking to clean your vehicle super clean? 123 Clean Car Wash, located at 2 1/4 Osborne Road, Kingston 10. Entrance on Grove Road, below Tropical Battery. They wash and vacuum, undercarriage wash, engine wash, polish and compound, shampoo and detailing. Call them at 876-631-3400. 123 Clean Car Wash, the best in the business for a cleaner wash.
Believe me, it's so easy. 1, 2, 3.
And training, and that is what we need to say.
Best 100 FM presents the Mature and Moving Up Show, Lascelles Butch Chen, on Thursdays from 6 to 9 p.m. Welcome to this pioneering radio program on our continuing work in our maturing years, compellingly defined to educate and liberate the younger generation. Tune in and welcome.
Half a tree, 100, half a tree. Bossy, how we do a take taxi start?
Chano, I want to tell you, say, 2 months now, my transmission mash up, and I check everybody and can't hear nothing positive.
Yeah, hear me? Yeah, waste all that time I shop around and never call the experts. Winters Auto have them. Them have over 35 years of experience and them diagnose the problem and get back your transmission brand new. For them service excellent and efficient. Trust me, man. Yeah, hear me? Call them at 929-7040 or go to them at 106 Maxfield Avenue, Kingston 13 and talk directly to the boss. Just tell them I'm me, send you.
You big star. Yeah, man. Respect my boss. Try calling him, cause trust me. What a relief.
Vitam Printers for all your printing needs. We specialize in calendars, flyers, brochures, and more. Call us today at 968-7506. That's 968-7506. Or visit us at 4 East Bloomsbury Road, off Haggard Park Road. Vitam Printers, your best choice in printing.
Best 100 FM is the authentic voice of Jamaica, promoting your prosperity with better vibes and better music. Let us promote your goods and services for you. Advertise with us. For more information, call our office at 876-276-8935. That's 276-8935.
The Morning Connection is not your usual talk show. We aim to stimulate discussion and chart new paths to self-empowerment. So please join us, Minette and Percy, on the Morning Connection, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Best 100 FM.
It's good. It's better. But nothing beats.
Good morning and welcome back. This is the Morning Connection. It's 9:35 a.m. Do we have a caller? We get to talk to each other. This issue that the caller raised concerning the media and politics. The way things are in Jamaica, it's just wise, it's just prudent, I think, for media to be as non-partisan, as neutral as it can afford to be, because we don't have a sufficiently diverse array of media professionals for us to be picking sides and maintaining, and we're too tribal and aggressive in our politics right now. Good morning and welcome to the Morning Connection.
Hello, good morning, Mrs. Minute.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning to Mr. Lawrence, I think beside you.
Yes.
Morning, my brother.
Right, morning, and morning to your engineer. I'm big up to all the callers and listeners worldwide. And all for one for all, that man that he can be no failure. One God, one human destiny.
Yes.
Equal rights and justice to all people of the world, you know.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, man. The teachers thing, you know, Miss Minute.
Yes.
Yeah, it kind of hurt, you know, but when you check it out, the teachers, them, I look a better life, you know. Yeah, so...
And we can't deny them that. And we cannot deny them that. We can't get vexed because they choose.
No. So more or less, what we have to do is make sure we turn all the teachers when we can't have teachers here and have teachers to export. You understand?
Yes, I understand.
Yes, because it helps both each way. You know, them get help, we get help. So we have to make sure we have teachers in store. So them are go, then we have put them in to keep education on a good level, you know?
Yes, that's a part of it. The greater objective, though, is to arrange our business so that our people can make a decent wage and choose to live in our country.
Yes, because
that's the primary objective.
Because the teachers, them live like Papa, them not live, you know, they not get a livable wage.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And when we check the teachers is the most important person. You see, teachers and farmers is the two most important person in the world at this moment in time. Because everybody go through some farmer teaching from 3-4 years old until you 100 hard, you can't stop learning. Right. So we have to make sure the education system set up a way where we can educate one nation. Because a nation who is educated, you know, and have health, you know, you can't stop them in earth, you know. You understand? Because that's the two things that work together, education and health. So we need to have that, you know, so that we can uplift the country and so forth, you know.
Yes, sir. That is a simpler way to put it.
Yes. I want to check out with the teachers them. I don't know whether all of them are go over foreign go face still, you know.
Well,
if you foreign people, then move down Jamaica, you know? Yes, because I'll tell you, I did remind them for over 6 years, right?
Yes.
I tell you, say, how teachers work out and we go and work anytime and always. You have to be on time when they are in place. You understand? So they have to change up their ways. You can't go work any time and do what they like. You have to work for your money at those places, you know?
And most of them, I think most people are aware that just leaving your country, living somewhere else, adjusting to the new culture and so on, is a sacrifice, you know. To leave your country and go live somewhere self-imposed exile almost. It's a sacrifice you're making. So I always imagine that it's not an easy first choice. That's not what people really want to do.
We will take out it. A lot of our teachers don't want to go because they know how parallel, but just through the life of living, I want to elevate themselves in a life. So they have to make the move. You get me?
Yeah.
So,
that's why. No, I'm just emphasizing. That's why our first priority is to make it possible for people to live, earn a good living, and stay in Jamaica.
Yes.
Yeah. You can visit foreign as you feel like.
Yeah, because when you go to foreign, I tell you, say, you see the racial abuse, that's one of the wickedest thing of foreign, man.
You were exposed to that in your time in England?
Yes. Man, when they go against certain man, white man all our part and they spit before they pass me.
They spit?
Yes. I want them to again them beat them just like monkey. When they see our pass and all them here.
Oh.
Yeah, that's terrible thing, man. The real thing in England is that terrible thing, man. That's why you see sometimes they have a riot between the black people and the police and all those things, you know.
And to think that some of our people, with knowing that it is like that, they still say, boy, if I stay, I die. Why sit we here and die?
Right.
Pick up and go to someplace, even amongst the enemy.
Yes.
So better by them here.
Yes, I'm the best use of it, you know, so they're really great themselves for help their family, so we have to appreciate their movement and give them a blessing, you know.
Yes, sir. All right. Thank you, Barry.
So, I'm the pastor.
Oh, Pastor had, Pastor wasn't well. I'm just trying to, I don't want to make it seem like he's
Listen, you have to just tell me the way you know they're on the show. You get me?
All right. Wait, but you know he's not on the show because you don't hear his voice, but he'll be back in a few days.
Yeah, so we have to know that, you know, down and out, we have to...
No. All right, in my rest.
Yeah, man, so big up to yourself, man.
Thank you.
All right, my brother.
Yeah, man,
okay. I was still trying to figure out, you know, I can't say the man of God sick.
That's a good question.
No, he's resting. He's resting and recovering. Yeah, that point, you know, about the sacrifice that is involved in migration.
It is a sacrifice.
It's a huge sacrifice. People don't just do it lightly.
Yeah, they'll eventually come back home. But you see, I've always said, you know, I cannot fault a person for seeking better for their families, themselves and their families. At the end of the day, you have to decide, you know, what you're prepared to live with. It's unfortunate for our country because a lot of the times the good people, you know, are the ones who will leave, meaning that they have so much to contribute. Not to say that the ones who remain are not good. But, you know, you find that these are people who are looking for better. You can't fault them. You know, you can't. And the fact that you're not here does not mean that you cannot continue to contribute to your family, to your country. Because there are a lot of people in the diaspora who want to contribute to their country. You know,
but you know too that there are strong words of prophecy as to the role of a diaspora. Those who are exiled, have had to live away from their country. They actually make huge, important contribution at a time when nations need it. But I've heard persons describe the diaspora as people who either give up on their country or run away, left their country. But you see these teachers leaving, and that's why I say the timing of their departure is important in understanding how best to respond to it. Teachers who are leaving because of an event which break their hearts and their pocket. You can't just look at them as, oh, these ones couldn't cut it, or these ones gave up and left. It's like these ones are being chased out. You're saying, and it being the mature teachers, the long-standing teachers are forced out because you take from them so steeply, you cut into the value of what you give them so much that, and then you don't want to fix it.
Yeah.
That one now, me tell you, man, that can cause bitterness. I just pray that as they make their moves, they focus on accomplishing what they want to, and they keep an open and a tender heart towards their country, because that spirit of unforgiveness and bitterness can give you cancer and diabetes. And
sure, you own a piece of your country.
And then you seek to
a position too. You buy a piece of land, buy a house, whatever you do.
Accomplish the things that
make sure.
Yeah.
You know, because you
I'm very concerned for our nation in that context.
Yeah.
That we drive people away.
It's life, you know, and
when there was that upheaval in your sector there, that time when the company you worked for, the one that has given you, that has put your name in the law books.
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
I remember one of your colleagues being so bitter.
Yes.
And he migrated. Yeah, he left.
Unfortunate.
He left Jamaica. And then in the aftermath of that whole problem there, things went low because, you know, you're holding it out of your industry. You have a black mark against your name. You can't get work. It can be terrible. And then he left, and he is happier in Canada, I think.
Man. Yeah.
And he has done well, and
himself and his family.
And then, of course, too, because when you leave like that, the next thing is to take all of your picnic. The next thing you do too is file for your kids.
Yeah, because I mean, again, people are looking for opportunities. So you figure that schooling and so much, you know, they have so much more that they can get. The social security benefits are more. People look to old age where they say, boy, you know, you can't afford medical care and so on and so forth. You know, there are so many reasons why people will cite for wanting to leave. My thing is, well, you know me, and we are, you know, of the same mind as far as it is concerned. We think we should contribute to change in our country, for making it better for our children and our children's children. So I'm going to be here. We're going to be here. You know,
well, I know you and I took a decision to stay here, and I mean, I didn't migrate. I had an assignment overseas, which lasted for a while, and in that period of time, I knew that I don't want to live away from my country. Good morning, and welcome to the Morning Connection.
Good morning, Love.
Good morning, African. How are you?
Good morning, my brother. Nice.
You know, the one song I want to get this morning, though.
What's the name? Go ahead.
I'm Buju Banton, one name, murderer, blood upon your shoulder.
Buju Banton, murderer. Oh, all right.
Yeah, blood upon your shoulder. Kill us today, can't kill us tomorrow.
All right, my brother, we'll hunt it down. Thank you.
For you.
Thanks again.
All right, stay good.
Bless up.
Yeah. All right. That's the program for the morning. How was it for you, Mr. Lawrence?
Oh, it was a good morning. You know, we ended it with some, well, not ended, but we certainly touched on some culinary flair. You know, akisu.
Akisu.
You know, talk about a little bit about the train ride. There are so many other things that we can talk about that happens in Jamaica. That is fun. Things from a childhood, things that are now happening. And I think we should
You want to distract us with nostalgia?
Yeah, man, it's necessary because we can't be talking about all bad in our country. So
that's an unusual.
Some of us who really don't know this country now.
That's an unusual
foreigners come here and they get to know the length and breadth of Jamaica before we do. And it is something that we should change. I still say that Jamaica is my best vacation spot. I love this country. I love the people. And, you know, I think we need to get to know our people some more. We need to get to know our country some more. We can't let foreigners come and get the best of it, whilst we are here just quarreling and killing each other and fussing about this and that. Yeah? So, what is holding you there?
No, well, yes, and I'm debating whether I should mention it because, it's happening to the north of us and it's being well reported in Jamaica, fully reported today in the Gleaner. So you know that the Disney theme park and their whole empire in Florida is at war with the governor.
Oh.
Disney is emphasizing that the governor has made some legislative moves to punish Disney because Disney expressed a political opinion about a law which the governor passed banning the teaching of certain things in the classroom. So because we've been talking about education and we've been looking at the state's behavior in relation to the teachers, and there are some political overtones to the state's behavior, obviously. I was looking at what's happening in Disney and their fight with the governor to see what's coming at us.
Who the other day wanted to teach something about slavery being
the benefits of slavery. Wants slavery to be taught in a manner that highlights the benefits of slavery.
Benefited from.
And and because we learn skills.
Some of the enslaved people.
The enslaved people learn skills.
That. Yes.
Because you're kept for free and learn skills during your enslavement. Yes, same governor who was looking like he could be a president, and now, obviously, with those type of utterances and motivations, his stock is falling. But I'm just looking at what Disney itself wants to see, because Disney is obviously in favor of children being taught about the many genders in the classroom as part of early childhood education. DeSantis, we were liking DeSantis. I would suppose most Christians would say he banned the teaching of those things in classrooms. The don't say gay policy. So that's like the church would say. I'm just using the church abbreviated to identify the different positions. The church would say, good move on the part of the governor, not exposing young children to that madness. But he's also the same governor who does not want the critical race theory to be taught as well. And that has been modified somewhat to be expressed in this business of teaching about slavery. Slavery as an economic system which had benefits to both sides, I suppose. It was an economic system, but to teach that it delivered benefits to the enslaved person is like madness. So Disney spoke out against the two things. As a consequence, the governor used his legislative powers to change up the system under which the Disneylands were governed, where Disney had a lot of authority and pretty much was like a law to itself. The huge theme parks and the hotels, and they have their own transport system, and they pretty much operate like a little mini country within a country. So the governor is shutting that down. And when he discovered that the contractual agreements that were in place limited the ability of his new supervisory committee that he put in place over the Disneylands, when he discovered that there were contracts that limited their ability, he passed a law to repeal the contracts. Now, they use the word repeal, but in the ordinary sense of law, contracts can't be repealed. Contracts can be terminated, they can be abandoned, they can be breached, but you don't repeal contracts, you repeal laws. But he has basically, which under our constitution, using the legislative power to take away property rights or rights that are of an economic benefit to someone would be unconstitutional. I'm sure they would say you have nationalized the man's property then, which is essentially what DeSantis has done to Disney. So it's now before the courts. I'm reading it and thinking, the way that we pick up bad behavior from other nations close to us, I can easily see that our government here is studying the same playbook. the way they are now trying to neutralize the Integrity Commission with the utterances in Parliament and the moving around of laws. But, you know, we go back to Isaiah chapter 8, 12 to 13. Do not say conspiracy. Do not fear their threats. Do not pay attention to their utterances. Focus on fearing the Lord, reverencing the Lord, and just know that if you are acting in that path of righteousness, taking your decisions, responding to things based on how, you know, we understand the way of God, then we'll be fine. That's all I can say, because when you put all of it together, there's a madness coming towards us that's going to require a great deal of discipline to respond to it appropriately. Thank you to those who have just journeyed with us online and on air. Bless you for the contributions and the phone calls. As always, Pastor Percival, get better soon. Our heart is with you. Get your rest. And Mr. Producer turned co-host, thank you very much for holding the position. Lloydie, thanks very much. This is the Morning Connection. Signing off.
Yeah. Yeah. And all this production. God give me all the strength and the courage and the mercy and the grace to my right. This is a song. Look how much of them I try and I fight tonight. None of them can break this song. Always stand firm so the enemies learn to me brave. I'm a sharp like a punter. Don't make them tear you no longer. Have God by my side to restore. When I fear no foe, in case I don't know all. And I'm straight on the conquer. Faith and get hurt when I'm sitting on me and think ya hurt. Him smoking pipe and then hype trading their him. Man, you just remember that one. So you're just under the air.